Appreciate you all coming today. We will convene the Fayette County Commissioners meeting Tuesday, February 18th, 2014 at 10 a.m. Please stand for a moment of silence. Please turn toward the flag for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any public comments on any of the agenda items?
Before any public comment, in case the meeting should run a little lengthy, I'm going to have to excuse myself. Some of you may know my dad passed away the other day, and today is the only day of his viewing, tomorrow being the burial, and out of respect for my father, I'd like to attend. So if the meeting would run into a time frame where I would compromise my ability to attend his viewing, I will excuse myself from the meeting. I hope you understand.
Okay. Thank you, Vince. Any public comment on any of the agenda items? Yes.
May I speak from here or do I have to?
No, please go to the podium.
Just regarding number 20, under Commissioners, to consider approval of a report to appoint SGA, I think that's Susquehanna Group, something, as financial advisor and consultant to research, review, evaluate options regarding the projects, including Justice and the prison, the Women's Annex, and CYS. Well, didn't you already do that with Mr. Crabtree study? You paid him so much to do a study, and then he did his plans for the Women's Annex, and then you had that picture in the paper of the Hall of Justice done. So why do it again if you already? And how much did you pay Crabtree for his? Do you know yet? For his plans?
For his study?
For his study or the design of the new prison and the Women's Annex? Because here you're going to pay.
All Mr. Crabtree did was a economic evaluation study for
the prison.
For the just justification to build the prison.
Right.
What this item on the agenda is going to evaluate all of the financing options for the least cost way to finance the cost of building the facility itself. That's the difference.
But it's also, the annex is also included in this one. So that Women's Annex, so that means you're going to look elsewhere?
Well, financing we're going to look at the least cost financing options for the Justice Center, the Women's Annex, and the CYS
Right.
building extension.
Well, shouldn't that have been done already? I mean, since you already had the architectural plans drawn up for the annex?
Well, the architectural plans are in the process of being drawn.
But you still don't have the copy, I guess, of Crabtree's, the CRE document that I brought last month that has his diagrams for the Women's Annex on Isle Street. That's not relevant any longer?
Well, we're going to be looking at the financing options now prior to going RFPs to contractors for any of these projects.
Okay, so you are going to advertise in the paper for bids, because
For our RFPs for the
RFP.
contractors that are doing the project. So we want to have the financing in place prior to that.
because you were quoted in the paper recently that Iowa Street is no longer a good idea because you need to get a return on your investment. So this hopefully will allow that to happen then.
I believe I said, was that my quote or his
No,
quote?
it's Commissioner Ambrosini's from.
I indicated that the cost projections were
Right.
going higher than what we anticipated, so we're looking at other costs.
What did you mean by we need to get a return on our investment regarding Island Street? How would you get a return on your investment by putting, for putting $350,000 into redoing the building? How do you
Right
get a
now, ma'am,
return?
what we do is we're sending a large percentage of inmates outside the county
Right.
to the house. You know, we
Right.
don't, our facility is too small. I think it's been too small for a number of years. And there's X amount of dollars that can be saved by bringing them back to the
Correct.
county in a facility here. So we can save the transportation costs, we can save the overtime costs, and we could save the cost. Some of the places we have to send our inmates to charge
Right, so much per day.
quite a bit. So if the renovation cost of a building here gets too high, then we'll have to look at some other, we don't want to break even, we want to save the taxpayers' money. So that's why
So
we're
you're gonna-
looking at alternatives.
So then you're gonna pay these people more money to help you save money, basically. And then a quote was $100,000 a month is spent
We're gonna,
on out-of-county rentals each time we delay doing stuff. That was in the paper also. That was quoted, I think Mr. Lawley said that each month that we delay on this project, we spend an extra $100,000 on out-of-county rentals. So is it really $100,000 a month that you're spending?
Last year, we spent
How much did
$1,218,865.
you spend since August?
Because you asked that question, I have a very detailed
Okay,
chart
good.
here, and I will hand that out to you.
Because you mentioned in August, each month it cost $100,000. Did
And
you
that's
spend?
exactly what we
ma'am, I'm
spent.
going to ask you to kind of wrap it up
Okay.
here because we only have 5 minutes for
Okay,
each person. Thank you very much.
so I could have.
Any other public
Sure, as
comments
soon as I get
on
into
it.
the agenda items? Yes, sir.
Oh, no, I see you turned your placard around. I was going to say the other side's totally wore off. Or was I seeing it from a different angle?
You can't see it.
Okay.
State your name, please.
Terry Chris. Good morning, Commissioners. I want to comment on agenda item number 5, and I want to ask some questions on agenda item number 18. First, the Cedarwood Development TIF program. There are a group of private individuals who are building the new hotel behind the sheets on Route 40. They're using their own money and have not gone to the public trough to subsidize it. There are many good local hardworking contractors and builders who have invested much of their own money to make this county grow and be a better place for all of us to live, and again, they did not go to the public trough. Owning a building and being in one's own business is the American dream. I think most of us look up to and admire self-made entrepreneurs like H.J. Hines, George Westinghouse, Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Bill Gates, or local legend Sullivan D'Amico, all who made it big without going to the public trough to build their fortunes. If this was 30 years ago, before we had every big box retailer, restaurant, and hotel chain, I would better understand the need to give away the farm to attract these developers. But Cedarwood's development is nothing new or nothing different than we don't already have. It will be a taxpayer-subsidized competitor to everyone else who has paid their own way, and that gives them a very big unfair advantage. From what I understand, this is the first time this initiative has been attempted in our kind, and I certainly hope it's the last. Cedarwood's proposal is an insult to any business person who has built and paid for it on their own, and a slap in the face to the homeowners and taxpayers that you expect to pay for it. This will set a terrible precedent, and I urge all of you commissioners to vote down the shameful fleecing of the taxpayers. Next, number 18 on your agenda, enter into a contract with Tom Murphy. Commissioners, I'm an avid newspaper reader and have never seen an advertisement for this consultant's position. So number one, did you see proposals or qualifications from the public, Commissioners? Do I need to repeat that question?
Yeah.
Did you see proposals or qualifications from the public for this position?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Again, I read the newspaper every day. Usually when the county has something to offer or a job to offer, you put it out in the paper. Did you seek proposals or qualifications from the public for this consulting job? It's a yes or no question.
This is a professional services job, and there is, to my knowledge, in the stated in our agenda meeting, there's nobody else that does this service. So,
Well, but again, did you seek proposals or qualifications from the public? It's a yes or no.
Just say
Al, it's a
no.
yes or a no. I mean, that's all I'm
Say
asking,
no.
please. Yeah, yes or no?
we did not put, and nor do we have to seek proposals for professional
Then
services
the answer is no.
according to the code.
The answer is no.
The answer is as I just stated.
Did you post or offer this position to the county employees already on the payroll? Do you post in the courthouse when there's an opening of position or anything for those who are already on the payroll to apply for that position or job?
This is a professional services position. Nobody in the courthouse has the capability to do it.
You sure of that? I mean, are you certain of that?
Yeah.
Okay, so the answer is no to that. You didn't let anybody in the courthouse know because you feel that none of your staff has that experience or expertise. Since it was not advertised or offered, who reached out to find this gentleman? Was it you, Commissioners?
Recorder Dean Malosky had spoken with Mr. Murphy on several occasions throughout the past couple of years about implementing the EPI. And Mr. Murphy had came in on a few occasions to give us basically how it works, what is done, ordinance requirements, that sort of thing.
So Malosky reached out to
Yeah,
Murphy,
Malosky.
not in reverse.
Well, I can't speak for Dave Malosky.
But it wasn't you, Commissioners, who reached out to Mr. Murphy. It was the Recorder of Deeds, in your opinion.
And he wrote a letter to the commissioners. I believe we received a letter from Mr. Malosky, if my memory serves me correct.
That is correct.
Okay, so Malosky reached out, not in reverse.
Well, he recommended that we implement this system, and he called in Tom Murphy to have meetings to explain the process.
Okay. Who is Tom Murphy? Is he self-employed, or does he own a business or a firm with employees?
Tom Murphy was the former recorder of deeds in Westmoreland County.
Okay. Former. Is he self-employed now with a business or employee?
I don't know Mr. Murphy's resume. I don't have Mr. Murphy's
Chris, I'm
resume
going
in
to
front
ask
of
you to
me.
wrap it up.
Oh.
here. We have work.
Oh, and I'm asking questions as quickly as I can.
You're asking me questions that I cannot answer. I don't know
But
Mr.
you,
Murphy's
but today
resume.
you want to hire the man, but you don't have the knowledge of who he is or what kind of a
Mr.
business he
Murphy
owns.
was a recorder of deeds in the county of Westmoreland for 12 years. He now operates, he's self-employed. He
Okay.
operates a business with a partner.
Okay.
This is what he said to us at the agenda meeting. The program in which he implemented in Westmoreland County was very successful, as well as other counties. It's something that is advantageous in a number of ways. Obviously, there's a revenue stream, which we need. There is also a way of expediting title searches, which is something that I think the Fayette County Bar Association uses.
Okay, Commissioner, where's Mr. Murphy's business located? You know? Here in Fayette County or in Westmoreland County?
It's in Westmoreland County, I
Okay.
presume. I don't know, Mr.
That's okay.
Chris.
Oh,
You're-
wait, Kathy, you just handed all three
Yeah,
of us
he just
this.
sent me
What
that
is
this morning. He just sent me that this morning. It's an agreement for professional services, and he was apologizing because he got snowed in and he cannot be here.
He lives in Borough, Pennsylvania.
Lower Burrell,
Lower Borough.
okay.
I know where it's at. It's not in the New
Okay,
County.
And the name of the company, according to this paper that Kathy Winkler just handed us, is IBN, Inc. Consultant.
Consultants. Okay.
IBN.
How long is the proposed contract with this gentleman? Is it a couple of months, a year, a decade? Where are we at? I mean, you're hiring a guy today.
I can't recall off the top of my head, but it's probably for a 2 to 5 year.
5 years.
Oh.
The initial term of agreement is 5 years.
5 years, okay.
With an option to renew.
With an option of renew.
And the option to renew, is it
No,
automatic?
no, yeah, it says, the initial term of the agreement is for 5 years, and the agreement is automatically renewable on a year-to-year basis.
Whoa. What will his salary and benefits package be?
There is no salary, it's a percentage basis.
Okay, so it's on a commission?
A percentage basis.
Well, okay, you're gonna say percentage, I'll use commission. What is,
No,
how
it's not
much?
on a commission.
Oh, then I'm wrong. I
Number two, we all have it in front of us.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, it's a
Okay.
percentage basis.
Payment, it says in consideration for the services to be performed by the consultant, the client, which is the county, agrees to pay the consultant $1 or 10%, whichever is greater, per UPI number applied to all documents during the duration of the contract.
Okay, so we got a 5-year contract with a 10% commission
10%
per.
per UPI number applied to all documents.
Okay. Will he be a full-time at the courthouse or work from his home or business?
He's an independent contractor according to this document.
So he works from home or biz, and when he comes to town when he's needed. Is that correct?
Yes.
From Westmoreland.
Are you going to hire another full-time employee in the office recorder of deeds to help do this work?
Yes.
You are? Okay. Commissioners, you are implementing this $10 fee that generated much-needed funds for the county. Is that correct?
We have a lot of business to get to.
I got 2 more questions, Al, and I'll be short and brief.
Yeah, and
Make them
this
quick.
is
Make them
important
quick.
because these are.
You're
items-
hiring a guy.
Yeah, these are.
I think I'm
items on
asking
the
some
agenda.
pertinent, relevant questions
Well, that's
today.
fine, but we have a meeting to attend to.
Al,
conduct.
I gotta go to my endocrinologist in Pittsburgh getting my cancer doctor. I took my time to come here, I only need several minutes, and I'll be on my
You're
way.
asking the
quick.
questions and they're being answered, but this is public comment on agenda
We
items.
have
and we-
5 minutes.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Yes, we
No,
do.
we don't. No, we don't.
Hey, we'll,
Continue, just answer.
Okay.
Just
I am.
ask the
Make it quick.
questions.
We have 5 minutes.
will he be full-time at the courthouse or work for himself? You answer me. You're gonna hire another employee? Yes. Are you implementing the fee to generate funds for the county? Is that why you're doing this? Are you looking for needed revenue?
It's to provide a needed service, and we will charge a fee.
Okay, so the revenue's part of it, is that correct? The revenue's great.
Revenue there is going to be revenue applicable,
Sure.
without question.
Okay. I do believe you have a department head or a county employee that has the expertise to set this program up and run it. Why would you want to give up your profits?
No, we don't.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
I mean, what you believe is fine.
of course, that's my opinion,
Yeah,
right?
your opinion.
Okay.
That's fine.
And you wanted me to finish, let me finish.
Go ahead.
To set this program up and running, why would you want to give up your profits on an outside consultant for the next 5 years when it can be done in-house far cheaper? If you really do need a consultant, let's be fair to all and advertise for the best deal and pay he or she for the 3 to 6 months tops to help set it up and get running, not for 5 years. I urge you 3 commissioners to not vote today and explore other options. Thank you for your time and for listening.
Thank you, and good luck to you, Chief.
Thank you very much, sir. And I'm sorry for your loss of your family.
Any other comments on the agenda items? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the proclamations. We have 3 proclamations today. The first one will be on the teen dating violence we have anybody here for that today? This proclamation is for Teen Violence Awareness and Prevention Month, February 2014. Whereas females between the ages of 16 to 24 are more vulnerable to intimate partner violence, experiencing abuse at a rate of almost triple the national average. And whereas 1 in 3 adolescent girls in the United States is a victim of physical, emotional, or verbal abuse from a dating partner. A figure that far exceeds victimization rates for other types of violence affecting youth. And whereas high school students who experience physical violence in a dating relationship are more likely to use drugs and alcohol, are at greater risk of suicide, and are much more likely to carry patterns of abuse into future relationships. And where young people victimized by a dating partner are more likely to engage in risky sexual behavior and unhealthy dieting behaviors, and experience may disrupt normal development of self-esteem and body image. And whereas nearly half the teens who experience dating violence report that incidents of abuse took place in a school building or on school grounds. And whereas only 33% of teens who are in an abusive relationship ever tell anyone about the abuse. And 81% of parents surveyed either believe teen dating violence is not an issue or admit they do not know if it is one. And whereas by providing young people the education about healthy relationships and relationship skills, and by changing attitudes and support violence, we recognize that dating violence can be prevented. And whereas it is essential to raise community awareness and to provide training for teachers, counselors, school staff, so that they may recognize when youth are exhibiting signs of dating violence. And whereas the establishment of Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month will benefit young people, their families, schools, and communities, regardless of socioeconomic status, gender, sexual orientation, or ethnicity. And whereas everyone has a right to a safe and healthy relationship to be free from abuse. Now therefore, we, the Fayette County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the February 2012 as Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month in Fayette County. We urge all Fayette County residents to work toward ending teen dating violence by empowering young people to develop healthier relationships, assisting victims in assessing the information and supportive services they need, creating better and more resources for young people in need, instituting effective intervention and prevention policies in schools, and engaging in discussions with family members and peers to promote awareness and prevention of the quiet epidemic of teen dating violence, adopted this 18th day of February in Uniontown, Pennsylvania. Would you like to say a few words?
I appreciate you recognizing it. Thank you very much. We've worked very hard this month. There have been varying activities going on within the high schools. We've given packets out to all of them to help create this awareness, because teens really think that anger is the reason that it happens. They think that jealousy is normal, and we need to break those myths. The schools have been very supportive. They've done a Wear Orange Day. It's Time to Talk Day with parents and community members, and we urge all of you to participate in any way you can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next proclamation is for Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. Would you like to read this one, Commissioner? Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, March 2014. Whereas in 1966, Pennsylvania legislature enacted the Mental Health Intellectual Disabilities Act to provide comprehensive community-based services to all persons regardless of ability to pay. Whereas community-based programs have dramatically reduced the number of individuals living in state institutions, and whereas Fayette County provides services for over 600 Fayette County residents with intellectual disabilities and over 300 children eligible for early intervention services. Whereas Fayette County is committed to the concept of self-determination, which promotes the right for all individuals to determine how they will live their lives, where and with whom, as well as freedom of choice, control, dignity, and respect. And through the Fayette County Behavioral Health Administration and various services provided, quality community-based services are available to Fayette County residents. Now therefore we, the Commissioners of Fayette County, do hereby proclaim March 2014 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, to be observed with appropriate community programs, ceremonies, and activities. Thank you. Would you like to say a few words? Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And the last proclamation is for National Problem Gambling Awareness Month. Sir.
If you want to save your voice, I'll read something real short and you won't have to go through the whereases and anses and stuff.
Okay, that will be fine. Thank you.
The goal of Problem Gambling Awareness Month is to educate the general public and health professionals about the warning signs of problem gambling and raise awareness about the help that is available both locally and nationally. The campaign was previously held during the first week of March to coincide with March Madness, and this is one of the most widely bet upon events in the United States. Now the campaign takes place during the entire month of March. Fayette County Drug and Alcohol will have informational materials that we are going to send out to various county establishments that offer legalized gambling activities. The goal is to reach individuals who might have a gambling problem. We will also have an informational table at Fayette County Health Center the entire month of March.
Therefore, we, the Commissioners of the County of Fayette, declare the month of March 2014 as National Problem Gambling Awareness Month on this 18th day of February 2014.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to
Yes,
make some more comments?
Well, one thing I did want to plug, in case you see anybody running around with like a cow button, this is going to be Through with Chew Week, and also on Thursdays, the Great American Spit Out, where we're hoping the residents of Fayette County will at least try for one day not to use tobacco, especially spit tobacco. And I would also like to advertise it next Thursday on February 27th at the Uniontown High School from 6:30 until 7:30. We have a gentleman coming in, Milton Craig. He's known as Big Milt, and he's an Emmy-nominated motivational speaker. He's been invited to the White House. He's been speaking to the NFL, FBI, you name it, and he talks about drugs and alcohol. His tour is titled Your Choice, Your Voice, and it's also helping us from the ELK's National Awareness Program. And like I said, he's currently produced his latest video is called What's Going On. It sends the message that it's your choice. You need to use your voice to help people make better choices. Your voice has power. It's a free event for all ages, and we hope to pack the auditorium. I do have some information here. If it's okay with the commissioners, I would like to set it on the table. So in case anybody would like to see it or take it with you, please do. Again, that's next Thursday from 6:30 to 7:30, and it's to help to get rid of the drugs here in Fayette County. And again, Fayette County Drug and Alcohol would really like to thank the commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
motion to accept the?
Make a motion to accept the proclamations.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Next item, the Fayette County Redevelopment Authority. This item today will have no action, primarily because the TIF plan is being modified. Once it is modified, there will have to be another TIF committee meeting, and then after that, that will be recommended to the three taxing bodies. Item number 6, Assessment Office.
We have to take action on item number 5.
I don't think we do.
You can vote to
no
move
action.
We have to do something.
We have to vote the table.
Let me ask, since he moved on, since the chair moved on to item number 6, my statement was we have to take some action on item number 5 that's listed on the agenda. Solicitor Ken Berkeley, do you agree that some action has to be taken?
Well, yeah, if you
Okay.
consider voting to remove it,
It's an
action,
item.
and I think it is. So.
Well, an action, whatever action I propose, but an action has to be taken, is that not correct?
It's on the agenda, yes.
Because it's on the agenda.
Let's just move the table.
I'll move to, I will move to table this item.
I will second the motion.
All those in favor? Motion carries. Item 6, Assessment Office. Consider approval of the following for a real estate tax exemption as they have been deemed 100% disabled veterans by the Veterans Administration of Pennsylvania effective for the 2014 tax year. William G. Pritz, 602 Bittner Road in Dunbar.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval for 4 assessors to attend the Laurel Mountain chapter meetings in Somerset County for 9 credit hours of continuing education class on April 10th and 11th. The cost per assessor is $120, covers class fees and materials.
And that was budgeted for. Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item number 7, Behavioral Health Administration. Consider approval to hold a Stop the R-Word rally on the courthouse steps March 6, 2014 at 10 a.m.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval of the following agreements and modifications.
And for you, the R word is
Retardation.
and stop using that word when we're talking about individuals with mental health or mental disabilities.
Okay, the first contract is professional service agreement 2013 to 2014 modification number 1 for a contract value of $5,000.
I'll make a motion to accept the modifications and agreements as listed on the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 8, Children and Youth Services. Consider ratifying a fiscal year 2012-14 purchase of services agreement between the County of Fayette, the Fayette County Children and Youth Services, and Outside in School of Experimental Education Incorporated for the rates as listed.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval of a fiscal year 2013-14 purchase of service agreement between the County of Fayette, the Fayette County Children and Youth Services, and Outside in School of Experimental Education for the listed services and prep costs.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval of a fiscal year 2013-2014 purchase of service agreement between the County of Fayette through Fayette County Children and Youth Services and Avanco International for of Virginia for version 9 upgrades of CWIS 2013-14 Phase 1 development. For the fixed price for this service is $5,138.89.
That comes out of their IT, I believe. I'll make the motion.
Sorry, what did you say?
That comes out of their IT.
Second?
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval of a fiscal year 2013-14 purchase of service agreements between the County of Fayette through Fayette County Children and Youth Services, Fayette County Juvenile Probation, and Adolphi Village Incorporated in Latrobe, PA, for foster care and group home services on an as-needed basis as per the following rates.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval to accept the recommendation of the Fayette County Children and Youth Services Advisory Board to remove Douglas Wright as a member of the advisory board effective immediately.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item number 9, under the controller, the financial condition of the county. Controller Lally.
So, Commissioners, for your approval, dated this 18th day of February 2014. In our United Bank checking account, we have $5,691,858.15. Funds that are owed to the general fund, which include temporary loans, ferry insurance policy, total $1,292,260. ARC payments due and payable are $234,171.17. Central service payments total $78,686. Funds that the general fund owes in the form of a tax anticipation note is $9,500,000. For the budget year at present, as of today, our net position is a negative $2,203,024.68. Total 2014 revenues collected as of today are $899,816.78. Total 2014 expenditures are $3,753,449.46. Total 2013 expenditures, which are being paid this fiscal year, total $1,120,484.47. In our capital reserve fund balance, we have $38,745.95. In our bond fund balance, we have $209,085.12.
I have 2 questions on that.
Sure.
This is through February 18th, as per the top of your paper.
2014, yes.
Okay. The capital reserve fund balance, is that including with all of the transfers that were made?
That is the current balance figure that was pulled off of the computer today in that fund.
Which fund is that, 50 or 51?
I think it's Fund 51, Commissioner.
There was some requisition that transferred some of the 300 or 200, either 280-some thousand or 300,000 of Marcellus Shell money. Is that not, apparently that's not included in here, but that requisition was done. Amy? Did you?
How would that be a capital reserve?
It's been signed. It's been sent to the controller's office?
I believe it was in the pile this morning.
Okay. So next month, obviously, that figure will be higher.
It should be.
Okay, the bond fund balance, the last one on here, is that includes all of our outstanding, that includes all of our bonds?
That is a summation of all of the monies that are remaining in the bond balance fund.
Okay, all bond. This is what is due, correct? Or is this what we have?
That is money that is available.
Money that's available?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for the controller? Item number 10, under courts. Consider adoption of a resolution to recognize the Fayette County Constable's Handbook effective March 3rd, 2014.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval of a lease and/or options with Taylor Place Properties for District Court 14-1-01 for a lease for 2014 through 2019. And, Tammy, if I could ask a question, what was the monthly lease agreement for that?
The landlord currently wants to renegotiate a wage. I believe it was $1,600 a month for 14, and then he wants $1,800 a month from here into 2019. We had put this on the agenda to move it because obviously I need a lease, but Solicitor Cup was supposed to look at the lease and get back to me, and I have not heard from him.
Here's what happened. At the agenda meeting, what you just said was accurate, that a lease was being proposed, and you had provided that to us to have the lease at $1,600 for the year 2014, and then for the next term, it was to be $1,800 a month. I indicated from memory, without looking at the lease, because you were part of helping in drafting our general language that we use for you and the person who's now retired. And I recalled that we put in our lease agreements that standard an automatic renewal paragraph. And I asked, now again, I said to John Cupp that this is what was from memory, and that I do not believe that, number one, we need to take any action, and number two, we certainly would not want to agree to $1,800 a month, because the terms and the conditions under the current lease with the extension paragraph is well below $1,800.
Oh, I agree
Right.
with you. However,
So-
I don't have those options to negotiate.
No, it's already embedded in the lease. It's in the
But the
lease.
landlord doesn't wish to continue on that lease. He wants a new lease revamped because they have changed. I guess it changed.
Well,
hands with
according
them.
to John Kopp, and I met with him, and then he did send a communication to Solicitor Berkeley and all of us. He agreed with my statement, and it needs to be changed, but he reviewed the lease, that the term of the lease, there was an automatic renewal. So whether the landlord wants it or not, he agreed to it back in 2006.
Well, there
Now-
was a change in landlords from that point to
But
this
the-
point. They
there-
just continued on with that same lease, and that's why they want to renegotiate a new lease.
I understand.
At new times. Who's going to contact the landlord?
Okay, let me just, we have a solicitor here who can, even though you have a change in ownership, ownership of the company, the lease is still effective. So according to John Cupp, he agreed that no action needs to be taken. I believe Solicitor Berkeley had an opportunity to review as well. As far as who would make contact with the county, we will do that. But go ahead, Solicitor Berkeley.
I did, Commissioner Zimmerlin is correct, and Mr. Cupp reviewed the existing lease, and as you have indicated, opined that there was an automatic renewal period contained within that, so a new lease would not have to be negotiated at this time, unless a lease has a provision in it relative to a change in ownership. The successor owner is bound by the terms of that lease as well, so the board would not have to take any action at this time.
Okay. So in effect, you do have a lease, Carter?
Yes. Yes.
Myself and Mr. Cupp can respond, I mean, whatever the board's
Well,
pleasure is, but.
the statement was we do have a lease, and the answer to that is yes.
Okay, sounds good then.
Thank you.
It sounds like it's something I need to worry about, then thank you.
So,
Yeah,
and again, something has to be done on this.
right? Since it's on the agenda. I mean, I don't know.
Solicitor Berkeley, do we know if there is a clause in terms of change of ownership in the lease or not?
I do not know that, but I did discuss this thing rather at length with Mr. Cupp, who is of the opinion, now, all I have was the proposed leases.
Look at the second one. I believe that you were sent that by John.
No, these are the same.
Okay.
Yeah, these are one and the same.
Well, John Cupp did look at the lease that's in effect, and
That's correct.
he said that there is not any paragraph with regard to change of ownership.
I did not discuss that point with him. If he discussed that with you, that I was unbeknownst to me, but it was his opinion that there is a binding term in existence as we speak,
Right.
which saves the county money.
That's why we wrote it that way back in 2006, that one along with all of the, the other ones. Which is a good thing for the county to do when we enter into a long-term lease agreement with renewals. You discuss at that time what your percentage increases are, so you don't run into that problem. So,
But the board does need to take some type of action to, I don't think tabling it would do it.
No,
In this
I wasn't
case,
gonna
I would
place-
just say to remove it.
I wasn't going to place it on the agenda last month, but the other two commissioners thought it was important to do, so that's why we did it. So yes, we have to take action on it now.
Well, I think that the reason why is there was some confusion as to whether or not there was the language.
Yeah, it wasn't just any confusion because I had stated it, but John Cupp, we asked John Cupp to confirm
Yeah.
obviously and do a review. But at any rate, where we're at right now is we have our legal opinion from both solicitors, so now we have to take some sort of action because it's on the agenda.
The solicitor, since we already currently have a legal lease, then
There's no need
I'll
to
make,
table it.
Just make it
I'll make a
done.
motion to remove the item from the agenda.
Second the removal of the item.
all those in favor? Aye, motion carries. Consider approval of a contract with Stratus Video and Interpreting for the courts to be able to use this video service for interpreting services that are necessary to perform court hearings with different interpreting needs we are facing.
Do we have a contract? And has a contract been made available to the commissioners?
Not at this point. I had to cancel the meeting due to another emergency that had came up, so I would just suggest that you move it or table it until the next meeting.
Okay.
Let me ask the question now, Ms. Lambie. Rather than removing it, if I make a motion to table for the next meeting, then it, moves along. So my question to you, at the agenda meeting, you stated that they're not going to be able to give us a specific dollar amount, and I understand why, because if you need somebody for 5 hours versus whatever the language is, so it would have like a fee schedule for lack of better words. And I see Solicitor Berkeley shaking his head yes. So that is the type of document that you would be giving us is the general agreement with this company and that they use for all individuals.
Right.
Be it a county or even a law firm who may use those services with an attached fee proposal. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And
Okay.
that's the
Are you,
contract-
are you fairly certain that this is the company that you wish to enter into an agreement with? Or is it, or are you?
There may be a few of them. However, we need,
Okay,
some other company may have them at cheaper rate. If I come to you next month with another company with a cheaper rate for a different type of language, I would rather, I want to use whatever services I have available at the best rate and with getting the best quality. This company here is right now the only company that I can find that has somebody that speaks Foley.
Okay.
I need a Foley interpreter for several preliminary hearings that I have coming up. That this is all I can find.
Okay,
So I might need somebody else for Russian or something else in the next month.
would you
may be the
utilize
best
this company
provider.
or would you utilize another company?
If another provider can give me a better rate, I would use somebody else. I just don't know if another contract would be necessary or not. With this company, it's required that I have a contract signed,
Okay.
that you will pay the fees based on our rates.
So are you asking us to place it on the agenda for March so we take action, or to remove the item altogether to give you the opportunity to look at other companies?
I would like to have it moved till March if possible, which is that I haven't had the opportunity to, I had to cancel the previous.
Okay, I will make I got that, thank you. I will make a motion to place this item on the agenda for our Tuesday, March 18th meeting, which is not the agenda meeting, it's the commissioners meeting, because you are, what you just said, you're going to ask us to sign off on it, correct?
Correct.
Okay. My motion is to move it to March 18th.
Thank you.
Well, that's my motion, I don't know if it's going to be passed.
Is
That
there a
would be
sense of,
some-
is there a sense of urgency to, what's the language you referred to, Napoli?
No, what's Napoli is, again, I speak Napoli language, yeah. I had to continue the hearing because I didn't have an interpreter for the people that's necessary. So right now I have to continue to March, hoping that I get the contract. So,
Solicitor Berkeley.
Yes.
they're criminal
You may-
cases, so.
Oh, they're criminal. Well, still, you may be familiar with these interpretive services. Or do you know if there's any other companies out there?
I do
You
not,
don't?
Commissioner.
Okay.
Well, the state also helps, you know, to get us people with what we need. And the state is actually looking into this company also. It's just that they have not signed the state contract with
That's right, I remember
with the
these-
AOPC.
right.
And I need something before the state.
Right, and this here is case, this, entering into this agreement is case specific, meaning,
For the-
yeah, criminal case specific for whatever case you're referring to.
It may be, it's not, the contract isn't case specific.
I know, but your needs are.
My needs at the current
I
time are
understand that.
case.
It's language specific.
Right.
Yes.
Well,
That-
case,
that's-
I meant
Yeah.
case specific, meaning you have a specific criminal case that you need this on, and that criminal case was continued because we did not have it, you could not locate an interpreter.
May I ask a question? Where is Napoli, forgive my ignorance.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. It's, they're, yeah.
Just south of Hooterville, I don't know.
Yeah, overseas. Or go on.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? I'll second the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 11, the Election Bureau. Consider approval of the two staff members to attend the Western PA Election Conference in Indiana County on March 28, 2014, at a cost of $40.
Move.
All those in favor? Aye, motion carries. Under the Human Resource Department, under CYS, consider approving the rehire within 1 year of Colby Seelick as a caseworker 2 for $16.48 an hour, effective February 24th, 2014.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye, motion carries. Consider ratifying the resignation of maintenance worker 1, Terry Cicero, effective January 31st, 2014.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye, motion carries. Consider ratifying the resignation of part-time bus driver Dale Gregg, effective January 17th, 2014.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye, motion carries. Consider ratifying the resignation of part-time bus driver David Jogger, effective January 17th, 2014.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider ratifying the resignation of part-time bus driver Kenneth Lowry, effective January 27th, 2015.
Move.
Second.
Consider accepting the resignation due to retirement of full-time bus driver Joseph Baird, effective February 28th, 2014.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approving the hire of Sarah Byers as Transportation Information Specialist 1, SEIU pay grade 6, step A, at $11.04 per hour, effective February 19th, 2014.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approving the hire of Kathleen Clements as Transportation Clerk 2, SEIU, pay grade 5, Step A, at $10.70 per hour, effective March 3rd, 2014.
Move. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approving the hire of part-time bus driver Susan Nicholas, Gary Babinski, Jason Pishko, and Lloyd Jenkins at $11.40 per hour, effective February 14th, 2014.
Move.
Wait a minute. Does it not say 5 part-time?
It says
1, 2, 3, 4? It says the motion was to hire 5, and there's 4 names on here, and that's what was read. Is there a name missing, or is 5, or should 5 be 4?
That was provided to me by the Human Resource Department this morning, so I don't know.
I know, but the item that was
Yeah, let's-
printed on the agenda, though, it was 5, correct?
It was fine.
It's 5, yeah.
Then, meaning that Dominic was here and he said 5 individuals, and that's why you printed that on the agenda. So apparently we either changed it to 4 or he left out a name. So there was a motion, so I'm just pointing that out, but I thought I heard a motion for
Yeah.
that.
I remember at the agenda meeting, he had omitted one, and he added it.
Yeah, that he said fine.
Yeah. But he didn't provide a name for the 5th one?
Okay.
Yeah, this is what I got this morning.
I'll rescind the motion. I'll make the motion for the 4 that is listed by name.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Information technology. Consider approving the hire of Terry Wilson as part-time IT assistant at $9.50 per hour, effective March 3rd, 2014.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Under tax assessment, consider approving the hire of Jared Billy as an assessor 1 at SEIU, pay grade 11, Step A, for $13.08 per hour, effective March 3rd, 2014.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is under information technology. I think this is the item that Kevin wants us to table until he gets more information. I'll just make the motion to table this until Kevin acquires additional information for the contract.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item 14, Juvenile Probation Office. Consider rescinding Resolution 1309-17-24 regarding the lease of 2 2014 Chevrolet Police Impala sedans for Juvenile Probation Office through Ford Credit Municipal Finance Program.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval of the lease of 2 2014 Chevy Police Impala sedans for the Juvenile Probation Office through PNC Equipment Finance.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider, this is under planning and zoning, consider RZ 13-5 for Philip A. and Eva Marie Giannetti requesting an extension of a B1 general business zone on property currently zoned C-1 conservation. This property, this zoning request was approved unanimously by the planning board.
And they don't approve anything, they only make recommendation.
They-
I'll make a
They
motion.
unanimously recommended approval.
We had a hearing last month on this, Commissioner Ambrosini and I attended it. I will make a motion to approve RZ 13-5 for Philip and Eva Gianetti, which would grant the extension, of B1 General Business Zone on property currently zoned C1 Conservation. And do you know what municipality this is in? I think it's in Redstone. No? That's my motion to approve to grant the extension.
I understand how it's in here.
Yep. Second, all those in favor? Aye, motion carries.
I abstain. I did not attend the hearing. I was at the hospital.
Item 16 under prison, consider ratification of an agreement with Armstrong County to house Fayette County inmates.
Reluctantly, I make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye, motion carries. Under item 17, Public Works, consider approval to execute a revocable license for land use agreement between the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission, Texas Eastern Transmission, and Fayette County, Fayette County to construct an additional pipeline across the PA Fish and Boat Commission property at Dunlap Lake. Terms and conditions as set forth as attached.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider entering into an agreement for the Fayette County and Texas Eastern Transmission for the sum of $10,000 for removal and relocation of county playground equipment and the dam marker on Dunlap Creek County property.
That's Dan, not
Dan.
Dennis and
I'll make the motion. Or somebody else do it.
No. Okay. Second, all those in
Wait.
favor?
Okay, there's a motion and a second, but there was a request to table this.
By whom?
Attorney Cup. And
Did he send out a?
yes,
I have an email from John that, he was gonna be here today, but he called me that he was unable to get out of the driveway. But I have an email that he had forwarded to Texas Eastern, Mr. John Pasco, an agreement that their legal department had to review.
basically what was said is, John Cup, after the Tuesday agenda meeting, prepared an agreement, and he provided that to all of us. He forwarded that to the company involved. The company involved then sent an email to all of us indicating that they cannot agree or disagree or make any comments to it because their company must send it to their corporate legal department, and that there was no way that there would be sufficient time for their legal department to either agree or make any suggested changes. And so, we can't agree to something that... So the recommendation was to table it until next month. It's very clear, is it very clear in your document that you're holding that all of us received?
Yeah.
That the individual said that they cannot agree or disagree because of their legal department has not had an opportunity to review?
all I can say is that it looks as though all of you were copied on the email. The email was from John Pasco to John Cupp, Bob Carson, myself, copied to Amy, to yourself, to Commissioner Ambrosini, and Mr. Zapatowski.
I'll make a motion to table until March 18th Commissioners meeting.
Do we need to have Commissioner,
No. We have a quorum right here.
If you have 2 votes,
I mean, but there was already a
There was
motion and a second.
I'll-
oh, that's right.
He needs to rescind
Yes.
his motion.
Yeah, you're gonna need him back for that.
To withdraw his motion? He seconded, he can,
I didn't hear that, but if that's what you're saying.
Can-
Is-
can-
I was looking at this.
That's fine, that's fine. There
Can
was
I-
a motion by Commissioner Zabatowski, and there was a second by Commissioner Ambrosini. Okay, the question is then, Solicitor Berkeley, Commissioner Ambrosini can withdraw
Yes,
his
he can.
second, is that not correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay, then I'll withdraw my second on that, on Commissioner Zapatowski's motion.
Okay, then,
Yeah, I know. I'm just waiting in case anything else is said. Okay, then again, I move to table this item. I move to table entering into an agreement for Fayette County and Texas Eastern Transmission for the sum of $10,000 for removal and relocation of county playground equipment and the DAM marker on Dunlap Creek County property to the Tuesday, March 18th Commissioners meeting.
Second, all those in favor? Aye, motion carries. Consider placing on the agenda approval of the Fayette Engineering Company's revisions to the Green Lick Run PA-656 dam, the D26-097 Emergency Action Plan. This promulgation and concurrence was ordered by the Pennsylvania Department, DEP.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider rescinding resolution 13-11-19-40 for bid 13-15 to purchase small passenger vehicle tires and mechanical work from Expert Tire at Uniontown.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye, motion carries. Consider ratifying the ratification of awarding the entire bid 13-15 for tires and mechanical work to Bob Summerall Tire Company, 7478 National Pike Road in Uniontown.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye, motion carries. Consider a motion to enter into agreement with Yohi Roofing Incorporated under the October 21st, 2013 proposal for area number 2, reveal area by connecting flat roof for $6,800.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye, motion carries. Under Recorder of Deeds, consider entering into a contract with Tom Murphy for implementation of the UPI system for the Recorder of Deeds office.
Make the motion.
Second, all those in favor?
Before you call for a second, since the agenda meeting, I've had an offer, which was Tuesday, which at the time, this individual named Tom Murphy had not provided his contract to the commissioners. He provided the contract after the commissioners meeting to Commissioner Zapatowski, who then was kind enough to forward it to me and the other commissioner. So since that time, I had an opportunity to look at the contract as well as to review some of the statements that Tom Murphy had stated. And the thing is, the motion and the second that's on the table is to enter an agreement with Tom Murphy. It's actually to enter into an agreement with whatever the name of the company is.
Yeah.
But there's a few items that need to be disclosed and discussed because of statements that were made at Tuesday's meeting and some of the statements today during the public comment. Number one, if this is approved, then that would mean that there was no proposals, no request to seek other individuals to perform this service, which would mean it was a no-bid contract or a non-proposal contract. Now, there was a statement that was made by Commissioner Ambrosini that it is a professional service and falls under that as per county code. My question to Solicitor Berkeley is, my understanding of the request for qualifications with professional services is, let me just ask you, in your opinion, does this proposal does this scope of work fall under a professional service as per our county code?
I was hoping you weren't going to ask me that, because as I heard this, I just, obviously I wasn't here last Tuesday, did not have an opportunity to hear any of this. I honestly could not say, Commissioner. It is one of those areas that seems to me to be very possibly, but the way the county code is on that, there are cases that actually go various ways on this, and I'd have to research it.
Okay.
Well, if I may.
Well, can I please, do you mind if I just
No,
go
not
through,
at all, ma'am.
since there is a motion and a second,
I was just going
and neither of you two had any questions or comments, I think, this is my opportunity, since there is a motion on the floor with the question, to just go through some items, and then, so the first question, you just answered.
I don't know.
Right, you said you don't know. Solicitor Puck was here on Tuesday, and he didn't raise any issue. However, I had asked him after the commissioners and the individuals all met one day last week, and so he still didn't, render a legal opinion. So my statement is, number one, that my understanding of that portion in our county code, that it does not, that the professional service clause, and it says it in the code, would be for like professional services, attorneys, accountants, engineers, okay? This individual is a consultant, it's not a professional, and I'm not an attorney, and we have three of you, so I believe that it should be, it doesn't fall under the exemption or exclusion as Commissioner Ambrosini said that it does. So, but that's for one of the three county solicitors to render the opinion on. The second item regarding that even if it did fall under, okay, which I don't believe that it does, I think it only behooves the county to solicit some requests for proposals to see if there's anyone else in the universe, or in the Fayette County, or Westmoreland County, or Allegheny County, or wherever, that could provide this service. And I will counter what Tom Murphy stated at the agenda meeting very explicitly. I made that comment to him, well, why should we, why not seek proposals? And he said, as well as one or both of my fellow commissioners said, well, there isn't anyone else out there who could do that. Well, go back to my office, do the research, and there is, okay? There is presently a county in Franklin County's in the process of hiring a consultant for their GIS, and included in that, they would do the IUP portion of it. UPI, what did I say?
IUP.
Okay. UPI, right. Plus, Tom Murphy indicated that counties cannot do this on their own. Now, I want to make it really clear to the public and on record that I am supportive of enacting the ordinance so we will have the program, which is the UPI program. Okay, UPI that's another thing, you know, for people in the audience who do not know what that is, or the public is, UPI is a Uniform Parcel Identification.
That's correct.
Okay, which is a good thing, which means that when any documents are recorded in the Recorder of Deeds that pertain to real estate, this number, which is normally the parcel number but doesn't have to be, is imprinted on the new deed or lease to be recorded.
Right of way, et cetera.
Right, so there's not just deeds, right-of-ways, leases.
Any parcel of
numerous.
real estate.
Any parcel of real estate, thank you. Which is a good thing, because uniform, we all know that. Now, this isn't something that's just new. Chester County enacted it back in 2008, okay? Many counties have already enacted it. Some have done so in-house, which the statements that were made at Tuesday's meeting, and even I believe beginning of this, well, he's the only one who can do it, and that's not accurate. And anyone can check this. I did, so the following counties implemented their UPI program in-house: Indiana, Washington, Cumberland, Elk, Fulton, Lebanon, Luzerne, Lycoming, is it
Schuylkill.
Schuylkill, okay. York County implemented, I'm not sure if that was on their own or not, but just a very quick research on mine between Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday found out that you don't need to have a consultant to do this, because these individuals did implement this in-house. Now, so that people understand, I'm not if the County of Fayette, through the Recorder of Deeds office and our tax assessment, and our 3 attorneys cannot perform this function and implement this with the assistance of the attorney from Recorder of Deeds and the law, what's his Fayette County Bar Association, Mr. Attorney Zegman. Okay, he was at this meeting that these individuals attended. If you still need to have someone do this, then we should do, number one, some requests for proposals to see if there's anyone else there. There should be some discussion from someone here as contacting these other counties, because they said that they implemented it on their own. And then the other, well, that's just that everything that I just said is my argument for not entering into this contract, because it is a no bid, and it should be. And then also the statements made by the consultant said that counties need outside sources, and we've already determined that that's not accurate. The other thing is that I believe that we need to do a projection of what this would cost the county to enter into, and Mr. Murphy has not provided that. As Solicitor Berkeley, you just stated that it is any document that is recorded in the Recorder of Deeds office that pertains to parcels.
It can actually be extended to other offices as well, Commissioner. Where the pathonetary could possibly be an area because you file condemnation cases there, various lawsuits over specific performance, or anything that deals with a parcel of real estate. One of the ideas behind the program is that, I think somebody said something about title searchers. There's arguments about, all right, what are we doing just for them for? But it's not just for them. Mm-hmm. But if you look up and your UPI number is X, it will show you everything, not just that deed. It will show you everything that's been filed relative to that parcel of real estate.
And thank you for that explanation. They explained that on Tuesday, and these 3 commissioners are all in agreement to implement the program. It is the manner in which we implement it. So because you have just explained that it is in addition to any documents that are just recorded in a recorder of deeds. That opens it up to how many documents in Fayette County are subject to this. And I believe that Tom Murphy or any other individual should be able to provide us with some of that information, because when it says on this paper that Kathy Winkler gave to us, $1, the consultant will be paid $1 or 10%, whichever is greater, per IP number applied to all documents. Well, how many documents in Fayette County would that be? Quite a number. So in order for us...
Deeds would probably do that, at least in his office.
Right, so my statement is that we should have an analysis done. Be it whoever wants to provide the service and get paid should tell us, not just $1 because, or 10%, whichever is greater, because it will be from, as Commissioner Ambrosini just said, the prothonotary, the recorder of deeds, or anything else. We should find out, maybe check with all of the offices that have the recording ability from each of those county offices, how the number of documents that were recorded in your office that would fall under this type of procedure in the last, perhaps, I'd say, 2 years, 2 to 3 years. And then that would give the county an idea of how much this consultant or any other consultant would receive, because it is estimated, and this is not my estimation, this is the estimation from one or both of my fellow commissioners said that and for certain, Dave Milofsky, the recorder of deeds, who indicated that during the budget meeting that there is a potential, and please confirm this, but he said there was a potential to receive $400,000. Now, again, that would only be through his office. So you take, just figure it out, okay, what the revenue would be. And that's just what the revenue stream would be, but then before we receive the revenue, obviously, a portion is taken out. That's the other reason why this county, there should be a motion to rescind, because there is no way of determining at this point how much money will be given to Tom Murphy under this agreement. That's another reason. Let's see if there's any other reasons I can come up with. But quite frankly, I think I gave you 2 or 3 that are very good reasons. So there is a motion and there is here, I'm just looking at this, item number 3, it says terms of payment. Payment and accounting to UPI Government Services, which apparently, and I don't know who that is, but because the agreement...
But that's his company, he explained that on Tuesday.
The agreement states, well, he also explained on Tuesday that he was the only one who could perform the service, and we just found out that wasn't totally accurate. But according to this agreement that I'm looking at, the agreement would be entered into by IBN Inc., who is the consultant.
Would you be able to provide us with the list of the other companies that provide that same service?
I don't know of any other companies. I said counties who did it in-house.
No, you said they did it in-house, but you also said that other companies had, there was other companies that...
I said there was one that said that they're in the process of hiring a consultant.
Oh, a consultant, okay.
Now, for the signature here, it's Tom Murphy, IBN Inc., okay? That's who the consultant is. Now, if you read, as I'm reading it just now, it says here that payment and accounting to UPI Government Services, which doesn't define what UPI Government Services is. Nowhere on this document. But it says shall be agreed upon at the time of the contract. Now, payment and accounting to UPI Government Services shall be agreed upon at the time of the contract. This is a consulting agreement. Maybe Solicitor Berkeley, if you were.
I haven't seen it.
Someone, Kathy, will you give our solicitor one? I mean, because I'm asking him to give us an opinion on a contract to be entered into, and she just did it today. The individual hasn't had a chance to look at it. solicitor, if you would look at the first part of the thing that has IBM, that's what I'm referring to.
What page are you on?
The first page, second sentence, the consultant identifies himself as IBM Inc.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? The signature page on the very last page, he identifies himself as the president, Paul Murphy, for IBM Inc. Okay?
I see that.
And then if you look on the second page, and this is my, so now, you know, we would be entering into an agreement, even though the motion on the floor is to enter it with Paul Murphy, which I would hope that you would tell him not to do, tell my fellow commissioners not to do that, because who is Paul Murphy? But it says here, item number 3, payment and accounting to UPI government services shall be agreed upon at the time of the contract. What payment to UPI government services? That's the first question. And then the second question would be, why would we agree to a payment after we agree to the contract? That doesn't make any sense, and I'm not, I would hope that you would agree to that, but if you don't, that's, you're not to give us your opinion other than your legal opinion. I totally understand that, but
I give you no opinion on the policy.
that's correct.
I give you an opinion that if I were looking at that language, I would say, I'm not sure what it means.
Right, and then the last thing, since you were looking at the agreement, number 5, it does say that the initial agreement is for 5 years, and the agreement is automatically renewable on a year-to-year basis. I'm sorry, that's the very next page, it'd be page number 3, under term of agreement. Okay? Automatically renewable on a year-to-year basis. It does not give any, I mean, that's plain English. After 5 years, it's going to be automatically renewed, but I don't see anywhere in here, but again, I'm just looking at the agreement just today, that if we chose not to renew it, then what is our time frame to inform the individual that we don't want to renew it?
I would not recommend signing an agreement or entering into an agreement that has that language.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then,
Because it says it's automatically renewable, I don't see any language. And again, I've just had a very quick look at it, but I do not see anything that gives you the ability to terminate it. You know, usually the language is, you know, unless terminated by notice to the other party, et cetera, et cetera.
right,
I think the 5 years, and I'm speculating, is based on the fact that oil leases tend to run into 5-year cycles, and that's the reason why the 5 years. I'm just speculating.
Well, the 5 years part is understandable and certain.
well,
Paragraph 6B is what's not certain.
and that's what I read.
There's no ability that I can see that gives you, unless you both agreed somehow by some modification to this agreement to terminate it. So
Right, and then,
that's not language that.
right.
No, I
would
agree.
Okay, then the other thing too is, I would disagree, and that's the whole purpose of us seeking proposals, is really what is the need to have an agreement and a consultant perform this function for a 5-year period. Again, how much money does that entail? We don't know until what I suggested before. The other thing, if you look on page, it would be item number 9, Roman numeral number 9. It says, deadline for implementation. Client must use its best efforts to implement the system within 90 days from the execution of this agreement. So, well, who's to say what a person's best efforts are? He could come back and state, well, you know, I need another 3 months. We need to close, if this agreement is entered into with IBM, and I again say we should not until we seek other, but if that needs to be more clearly defined, could you?
Personally, I have no problem with that one. I mean, I told you honestly on the other ones, I'll tell you the same.
Well,
I think there's court cases that say, you know, under the circumstances, what's the best efforts? If you sat around and did nothing, obviously that's not your best effort. if you had some problems implementing it, you could show that you were trying to. Any court in the state's going to interpret that as best efforts. I don't have a problem with that language.
Okay, well, I just gave at least 3 or 4, I think, good reasons as to why this should not be entered into, and instead that we should be seeking some proposals. There is a motion and a second. You gave your legal opinion as to the, your legal opinion on at least 5 or 6 items in here, and you haven't had an opportunity, and I understand, to even review the other ones. But
I would, if I may, I would like to rescind my motion and make a motion that we will adopt the agreement for professional services and address items such as the items raised by Commissioner Zimmerlink in regard to payment, as well as, what other issue did you have, Commissioner?
I'm not sure what you're making, would you just make one motion? What was your?
I'm making a motion that making a motion that we are going to adopt this contingent on modifying the provisions in which you addressed.
No.
Why don't we just say as per solicitor?
As
review?
okay, that's fine, I'll make a motion.
Wait.
You can't do that.
Yeah, they can. We can't, no.
Yes, you can.
No. There is a motion and a second
And I
on the
just
floor, and the motion and the second is to enter into a contract with Tom Murphy for the implementation of the UPI system for the Recorder of Deeds office. Is that not the motion, Chief Clerk?
Yeah.
That's the
There's
motion.
a motion and a second? Okay.
But he just rescinded that, is that correct?
I don't know, did he?
I did,
I heard a
The
motion
beginning
to
of it.
rescind,
Yeah.
yeah.
but he coupled it with another motion.
Well,
Right, that's right.
no, what I did is I rescinded the motion and then made a motion, and I will, instead of what Commissioner Zimmerlink had referred to, pending review by the solicitor to review the sections in which may need to be changed in order to protect the county's best interest.
Okay, so,
So pending solicitor's review.
so he withdrew or rescinded his motion. There's a motion and a second on the floor to adopt, to enter into a contract. Solicitor Berkeley?
Well, there's a motion and a second to enter into an agreement as per the language of the agenda
Right.
with Tom Murphy.
Right.
We have to vote that down and then re-motion?
If you're gonna rescind that, you gotta make your motion to rescind.
I did. I make a motion to rescind.
All right.
Okay, I'll second that. All those in favor? Aye.
Now I'll make a motion that the agreement for professional services under UPI be reviewed by the solicitor, and any changes that would serve in the best interest of the county be made pursuant to the agreement presented by the company in question. What's the name of
IBM.
UPI system.
UPI Systems?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's IBM.
IBM. Yeah, IBM.
IBM Inc. Excuse me, IBM Inc.
You-
You can't sign a stupid contract,
We didn't sign anything.
but you're saying you want to agree.
Would you please
Ma'am.
read back, would you please read back the motion, Chief Clerk?
The motion was,
You'll have to speak up, please, because I don't think they can hear. Should we all hear? Thank you.
the motion under UPI, to be reviewed by the solicitor, and any changes that serve in the best interest of the county be made by IBN Inc.
Was there a request for any proposals there, or did he just say
I
to
didn't.
review?
I didn't make any request for proposals.
No.
Commissioner, you heard it as I did.
Okay, read that again.
Motion under UPI that it be reviewed by the solicitor and any changes that serve in the best interest of the county be made by IBN Inc.
Government services.
Again, this is, we sat in on 3 meetings. Mr. Murphy came to 3 meetings, met with the solicitors from both the tax assessment office, the recorder of deeds office. This is a very complicated, to implement this program is very complex. It does require the assistance of somebody that knows what they're doing. Mr. Cupp at the agenda meeting even made the statement, you could either hire the consultant before or after. I mean,
No, before or after enacting the ordinance is what he said.
Well, yes, but the fact remains is we're nowhere near even getting the ordinance prepared. We don't even know what we're doing yet. So it's important for us to, I think, to have someone with a background that has the professional knowledge in implementing this. We do not have that capability, so.
In Fayette County, no one's smart enough in Fayette County.
Ma'am, please.
You're out of order.
The motion, there is a motion, and he's giving his reasons as to why he made the motion.
And it would be subject to review by the solicitor and/or solicitors.
Commissioner Zapatowski, can I ask you a question, please?
No, this is not a public comment section.
Okay, well, yes, you can, and
No.
here's the reason you can.
No.
No, here's the reason you can. And quit gabbling me until I'm finished. Mr. Solicitor Berkeley, okay? The item on the agenda was stated, and he just withdrew it, okay? He is now making a new agenda item, which is totally new, that is not on this agenda. Public comment must be sought. Public comment must be sought on this agenda item before it is voted on. Is that not correct?
Well, no, I disagree with you. The fact of the matter is that it is the same content. There are issues that have come up with that before. Even though it's a variation, the argument can be made that it is the same.
Okay, no,
Sorry,
it is.
I know you don't like people to disagree with you, but I disagree.
Oh, no, that was very much uncalled for. That was very much
Well,
uncalled
no,
for. Okay.
Yeah.
You question me for all the other things, and then as soon as I disagree, you're going to get personal with me.
How did I get personal?
No, you did.
How?
Well, I'm not.
Oh, no, I
And your little gallery has to be.
My
Oh,
wait a minute, wait. Did you say my little gallery?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Excuse me,
Yes.
excuse me.
They're sitting there chiming to me.
Wait a
Mr.
minute.
If I may, Mr. Chris, what is your, Mr. Chris?
We pay you, sir, we
Order.
pay you.
Mr. Chris,
Wait a minute.
excuse me.
Order.
Mr. Chris, what is your question, sir?
No, hold on a second, please. No.
What is your question, Mr. Chris?
Would you put out an RFQ or an RFP along with your motion to find other people who
Mr.
might
Chris,
be out there?
to my knowledge, this is the only company that does
Let's
this.
see
Let's have
Give
some order.
everybody a shake.
Stop, okay, first off, the reason that I suggested that, and I believe that you have public comment on an agenda item is because it is a new agenda item. This item here just simply says Tom Murphy. No one in the public, and it didn't say the amount, no one in the public had an opportunity to really make some specific questions on the contract because we just revealed what the terms were. The second thing is that if you are, Commissioner Zapatowski, you allowed or asked for
And I answered
this
it.
individual,
And I answered
but
it,
you
sir.
see what happens. Everybody then starts talking. That is why I suggested that you do the public comment on agenda items. It's a new item, and everyone quiet, one at a time, make their comment. If you're going to allow Mr. Chris to do it, you have to allow the other individuals to do it. The second, and something else that is, it has to be said, and do not gavel me down. It was inappropriate for Solicitor Berkeley to say my little gallery, okay?
Let's keep the outburst.
Okay,
This
it was,
is not.
it was wrong because there are people in this room who just clapped and are saying things, and I don't even know their names. I don't have a quote, Solicitor Berkeley, a little gallery. These individuals are here because they want to be here, okay? I'm not telling them what to say. Have I told you guys anything to say? Have I? No, okay. Now, and then your other comment, Solicitor Berkeley, of, well, I made a little sly remark or personal. Pull the tape and the minutes. I did not say one thing, so
Once
that
again,
is
you're
wrong.
misquoting what I said.
You just got done saying I made it personal. Did he not say that?
Did I say sly remark?
Personal? Did he not say personal?
Okay.
Okay. My question to you
gentlemen.
was a very legitimate question. Although I disagree with it, my question to you is it required to do a public comment on this agenda item, and your opinion is that it is not. Is that
Ladies,
correct?
it is not.
Okay, and I respectfully disagree, which I can.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we
Now-
please move on with the county business?
The-
I'd like to,
You have a motion, okay? We need to have a second before I can
ma'am,
question
I'd
the
like
motion.
to, I'd like to pay my respects to my father, so.
We would still have a quorum.
And by the way, I didn't laugh on Saturday night.
Oh, if you read that.
We would still.
I was sent that by email, thank you.
If we
Wasn't by me.
stop. He said something that I don't even know what you're talking about, and you two are going back and forth. Stop it, please. If any commissioner here has to leave, we will still have a quorum. Okay, so if you have to leave, that's fine, but we will still have a quorum to make any decisions. Now, Commissioner Zabatowski made his motion. I don't think it's fair that Mr. Chris was given an opportunity to ask a question on that after Solicitor Berkeley said it wasn't needed, and Commissioner Zabatowski said, go ahead, ask your question, without, if anyone else in the member of the public would also have a question on this. If you're going to allow one person, you have to allow another. Okay, that's my statement.
Okay.
And then secondly, we can't even, if there's not going to be any additional public comment, then there has to be a
There
second
will be at the end of the meeting. just
on
like
this
always.
agenda item. Then there has to be a second, and then we can continue the discussion on the
One
proposed
fixed
motion.
with what's going on now.
Please. You know, this is not a debate. This is the business part of this meeting. We will conduct it as appropriate.
All of those questions that, ma'am, that you're asking would have been appropriate at the public comment on agenda items. However, the item was very vague, and as you saw, the contract was just given to us.
Right.
And you asked, and there was questions asked, and they said they don't know, even though it was sitting in front of them, they didn't read it, and you saw that our solicitor didn't read it. So again, if there's
Okay.
going to be a second.
For the purpose of moving this along, I'm going to second Commissioner Zabatowski's motion, and so we can move along. All those in favor?
No. Now
Okay,
there's a motion and a
ask
second.
your favor. Ask your
Ask my
question.
favor.
Ask your question.
Oh.
Okay, now, Freudian slip, you said.
Yeah.
Ask your questions.
There's a motion there's a motion and a second. Now, you just heard, I strongly suggest that this not be done. Number one, it says to agree to enter into this agreement and have our solicitors determine what is in the best interest of the county. No, solicitors are not to determine what's in the best interest of the county. The county commissioners are supposed to do that. I'm not going to agree that we take this agreement and then just have one of our three solicitors meet with Tom Murphy and iron out whatever these differences are and then come back.
Nobody
okay?
asked the solicitor to meet with Tom Murphy. We asked him to review the contract document.
To ensure,
To ensure, no, you're approved, no, that is not what the motion says. The motion says to enter into the agreement upon the review. Is that not what it says? Read the motion as he stated it. Yeah, I am.
Motion under UPI system be reviewed by solicitor and any changes that serve in the best interest of county be made by IBN Inc. That was the motion.
I don't think that motion is
Okay.
making the county bound to any agreement. But that is why I would request that, you know, I mean, I don't think it does, and I don't think it should. You know, I think the appropriate mechanism to pursue this at this time would be for the one or more of the solicitors to review that agreement. We've already pointed out some, I think,
potential
serious
questions,
weaknesses.
yes.
And then, you know, prepare one that would be submitted to this board, if the board so chose, for approval at a later time. But I
At a
don't
later
think-
time meeting, at a commissioners meeting.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
That was the
Which-
point. That's what I was trying to get to. Thank you, Mr. Bergman.
Again, if it gets passed, it gets passed. But again, I pointed out, number one, I would want a legal opinion on whether or not this falls under
Professional services.
if it is excluded from it, and you haven't determined if it does or doesn't. And then secondly, even if it didn't fall under the exclusion, as I said before, it would be more beneficial to the county to seek other proposals and to seek other options, because the statements that were made by Tom Murphy at the podium is that he's the only one in the county that can do it, and it's too difficult to do without a consultant. And I just read to you the counties that did it, that implemented the program without a consultant. And also, we need to be more specific on what this cost is, because that cost could be very, very high. And one other statement, Commissioner Zabatowski said that there were 3 meetings already. Well, those meetings were a conference room meeting where you brought in an individual at a non-public meeting, meaning Tom Murphy, and you discussed with this individual
Dave
to
Malosky.
hire him, and that should not have occurred.
No, we did not
He
bring.
presented his plan.
Dave
He presented his
Malosky
plan.
and his solicitor were at the meeting. They're the ones that engaged Mr. Murphy and addressed him with questions.
No, you
I was in the-
were there. Commissioner Ambersini
I was there
there.
briefly, and
Well, briefly, you were still there.
Yeah.
Tom Murphy was there.
it was an informational meeting. You want to learn about what we were trying to do.
Whereas he said, hire me because here I am. Okay,
I
that
don't-
goes beyond an
I think-
informational
I think
meeting.
you're misquoting him. I don't think he said that.
Well, he presented his plan. He
I-
presented his plan.
I attended 2 out of the 3 meetings to learn what this process was. And
And they were
they were informational, as Commissioner Zapatowski stated, and they also, you know, imparted a lot of knowledge about the system, and it is a needed system, and it will benefit the county.
And again, I did not say that it was not a needed system. However, the meetings took place with, and I spoke with I spoke with 3 attorneys afterwards. I did speak with Solicitor Cupp, the attorney, Gary Frankhauser, the solicitor for the Recorder of Deeds office, and also the chair, or whatever his title is, for the Fayette County Bar Association attorney, I believe his last name is Zeglin, asking what occurred at the meeting and asking them for their legal opinion and input. This has nothing to do with whether or not we should adopt or not enact the ordinance or not enact. It is, and I made myself very clear, choosing one individual in a conference room or outside of a conference room to enter into an agreement that we already know there were some questions on the agreement, We don't know how high this amount could go, and his own statement said that it can't be done in-house, and I've just read to you some of the counties that it could be done in-house. It's not advisable to enter into it.
Can you provide copies of those counties that did do that in-house?
I read them off. You can see
Could you
them in the
provide
minutes. I will
documentation?
give you.
Thank you.
I will give you. Well, yeah. I'll make sure that I'm not going to make.
Oh, I'm asking.
Yes, by all means, I will give you a list of the counties that said that they did this in-house.
All
You
those
do
in
have
favor?
that. You do have that listed in. I read that into the record, correct?
Why did
I
it?
think Mr. Murphy,
Okay.
if my memory serves, I think Mr. Murphy worked with Indiana County.
I think he did too, but I don't know.
I'm just telling you what the information that I was given.
I think,
Okay.
no, I'm
Okay.
quite certain he worked with Indiana County.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Nay.
Next item under tax claim. Consider approval of motion to accept the following bids from February 4th, 2014 repository sale bid opening, subject to all conditions being met,
Move.
as listed.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye, motion carries. Item number 20 under Commissioners. Consider approval of retaining M. Janet Burkhart, Esquire, as TIF counsel for at a rate of $125 an hour to be shared with South Union Township, county portion not to exceed $5,000.
Move.
I'll make a motion to table as we table the first item. Given that some of this may be changed, also the council rate could change as well. So I'll make a motion to table.
They're two separate.
I made a
things.
motion to table.
Is there a second to the motion? Is there a second to the motion? Motion dies for lack of second.
Lies for talk about a Freudian slip on that. Uh-huh.
Based on the fact that there may be the need for revision in the language of the TIF, it's imperative that we have strong legal counsel, so I'll make the motion.
Second, all those in favor?
Before you call for.
Go ahead.
Well, you said aye, and I didn't even say aye. Before you call for a vote, there's a motion and a second. Again, first off, the county, I don't know who this individual is, okay? Is there any type of proposal or contract that states what these services and items are? Does anyone here have that? Solicitor Berkeley, were you given a proposal or contract to review?
I was not. I do know who Ms. Burkhart is.
Okay. Well, she's apparently an attorney, and she has represented other municipalities regarding TIF.
Yeah,
But there is
her
no
law.
proposal. There is no proposal or contract that we have seen. Is that correct?
It's none that I have seen.
Thank you. The second thing is there are 3 municipalities, the school, the county, and the township. I do not know if the school was asked to also help to pay for a council. Why is this only limited to the county and the township? I know that there is a school board member here, but I'm not going to ask the question because this is not a public comment period. But to my knowledge, and according to this document, the school is not asking to share into this.
That is because the school board was asked to share these costs at the TIF committee meeting, and the school board apparently, from what I understand, is acquiring their own counsel for TIF representation.
Are you acquiring outside counsel or within counsel, or if you're aware of it?
I have not heard that. We will have a meeting tonight. Some board members don't feel.
No, I'm only asking about the TIF
Yeah,
council, if you
yeah.
know. I mean, because I know
Okay.
that you had a meeting. To your knowledge, as a school board member, and I know this is I know this is not public comment. I only am asking you.
We did not.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So there's a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Nay.
Aye. Aye, motion carries. Next item is consider approval to appoint SGA Financial Advisory Services, Inc., Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, SGA as financial advisor and consultant to the county to research, review, and evaluate options and recommend and implement financing for the costs of the Fayette County capital projects, in parentheses, projects including without limitation the Justice and Rehabilitation Center Women's Annex and CYS building extension. SGA is directed to work with county officials and representatives and with Susquehanna Group advisors, the county's auditors and consultants to develop a financing program for the projects for implementation by the county. For such services, SGA will be paid a fee consisting of a base fee not to exceed $25,000 and such additional fees as shall be included as part of any financing to be hereinafter approved by the county for the projects. In addition, SGA shall be reimbursed for any expenses associated with the engagement.
I'll make the motion. The only thing I ask, sir, of you is that you provide us with weekly updates on your discovery of whatever financial means in which you uncover to all three commissioners, as well as the controller, of course, and that we establish a line of communication that could allow us to act promptly and in a manner in which, with interest rates and the instability, and we don't know which way they're going. So I would ask that you provide us with that on a weekly basis. I made a motion.
Okay. Second.
There's reasons why we should not enter into this agreement. Number one, to clarify what a member of the public had stated had questioned at the podium. The individual was confused as to thinking that we had already entered into an agreement with Crabtree. These are two separate agreements, two separate scopes of work. This scope of work, as it's clearly identified, is for Susquehanna Group, who already has consulting agreements with our county, now to enter into another agreement for $25,000 plus. The problem, as I said, no, it is plus.
Yeah,
the plus says,
Well, the fee is not to exceed.
it does not say not to exceed. See, that's
Yeah, it does.
Wait, okay, no,
It does,
it's the
under
base
item
fee.
I.
The base fee says not to exceed.
That's correct, that's what I just said.
No. Okay, anything else? Okay.
There's a base fee not to exceed $25,000.
Okay, now may I continue? Okay, it is more than 25,000. It says a base fee not to exceed and any such additional fees as shall be included as part of the financing. And then it has number 3. In addition, CGA shall be reimbursed for expenses associated with the engagement. So the base fee is $25,000. Clearly, I just read the other 2 items, and it's very clear. Okay, so at last month, I believe it was in the January commissioners meeting, not the December. If someone is here who has this information can correct me, but I believe it was only last month that the majority commissioners by 2-to-1 vote agreed to go the route of a $10 million tax exempt loan, and that would be for a 3-year period. The resolution may not have specifically said 3-year, but all indication said that it was a $10 million tax exempt loan, and obviously with the $30 million that has been out there, we all know that we're doing 4 consecutive years. And that was with stating from the individuals that Susquehanna, Sam Lynch through Susquehanna, suggested that the county take that step because that was better to do than the bond. So now that same, and that's all in the minutes, and it's also in the news articles with their statements. And I haven't seen any retractions. Now, that same company and the 2 commissioners want to enter into an agreement to pay them for not only the same thing, because they already rendered a decision, but also to explore other options. Now, back in October, our bond underwriter from Janie Montgomery, Janie Montgomery, provided to the commissioners, and we discussed it briefly at one of our commissioner meetings, the options and the costs associated with issuing a bond. We can, if we have more specific questions, we can go back to our bond underwriter for that. In addition, as 2 banks have indicated to me by calling me up on the phone, and they said, you don't really need to have a consultant explore these options. You know what your financing options are, which would be a tax-exempt loan, do a request for proposal, a letter of interest to the numerous banks. The banks then would come back, as they have done in the past, and said, we will offer you X amount of dollars at X amount of money. And this is what our fees and our interest rates are. So that is that is one of my reasons for not supporting this. I'm not going to go into detail, as I said at the agenda meeting, the other reasons. It's a matter of record.
As stated in our agenda meeting, which Mr. Lundquist was here and was available to answer all questions, we stated clearly that we were going to look at all financing options, which included bond issues, more conventional bank loans, and a build-own possibility. And so that's why, these financing things are very complicated. There's a lot of hidden costs that, and I don't want to speak for anybody else on this panel, but I sure don't know what all the hidden costs are in the various financing options. So that's why it's important for us to get to acquire services from an expert financial institution, so they can be independent, represent us in looking for all these various costs. And I can tell you that there can be, we could talk about the $25,000 cost plus expenses, but the fact of the matter is we could easily save millions of dollars by having this individual do this work for us. So
this goes beyond a base fee of $25,000. It's not necessarily just my objections. It's not necessarily just because of the base fee, because I never said that that's what the sole reason was. The same company just last month gave an opinion to do the tax exempt loan, and now this company is coming back and saying, well, let me enter into an agreement with you and I'll explore other options. That's my basic reason, as I said. There's a motion and a second.
The difference being here is we'll do research on all of the potential options, potentially even more than what I just mentioned, and we'll have a quantifiable recommendation of which way to go. And that's important to save money for the citizens of this county. So, all those in favor? Aye.
Nay.
Motion carries. Consider a motion to approve the January 21st, 2014 regular commission meeting minutes.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Consider advertising an RFP for a building to be used to house inmates, specifications as attached and are subject to agreed upon modifications.
There are no,
I would, first of all, seeing, you know, seeing no specifications and the fact that Commissioner Zabatoski mentioned in the agenda meeting that we should look at county property or county buildings first.
And/or county property.
Yeah, I think it's, at that point, I think it's too early to do an RFP for both reasons. One is, you know, I agree that we should look at county buildings and property, and then I also agree for the women's annex, let me make that clear, and in addition that we've had no specifications to review, so.
okay, well, I'll comment on that. Number one, the reason there are no specifications is because since January, I've asked for the information from 3 solicitors and the contractor, the architect himself to provide, and nothing has been provided.
Well,
and
that's not correct.
That is
information
correct.
was provided to you last Friday
Where? By whom?
by Crabtree Roball.
No, it
It was laying
wasn't.
on top of your mailbox.
You're
With your name on it.
What time was that put on? Put there? We were closed on Monday. What time was that put on the top of my mailbox? Okay.
I don't know.
Well, okay, well, first off, okay, if that document was placed on the top of my mailbox on Friday, I know that I left my office after 4:30, checked my mailbox, nothing was there. I've been asking this since January 24th. It was
Well,
stated to
it
me
wa-
that the
it actually-
information wasn't there. I also asked that when we did place this on the agenda to provide it so I could have that information and attach it as a spec. So regardless of that, because that's interesting that it was placed on top of my mailbox.
Well,
Okay, the
it's
second-
because it was too voluminous to fit inside your mailbox.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the second thing is,
Right here.
the second thing is the statement was just made that it's too early to do an RFP for real estate, be it property or land, for the annex building. Is that correct? Is that what you said?
Because as Commissioner Zabatoski stated, we should look at county-owned buildings. and
I was,
Okay, well-
I was looking at, my objective was to try to get the best bang for the buck.
Well, we were told
Yeah.
That's the reason why I made that statement.
Okay, we were told by the architectural team leader, Jim Killinger, that he did look at county-owned, and I agreed to, Commissioner, that wasn't under a motion because we don't need to have a motion to direct our staff to do
Yeah, I
that.
understand.
But one of the prison working group members has numerous times indicated that he has sought out county-owned property. So this isn't.
For the prison, for the new facility only, not the women's
No, he
annex.
said I have it in print, 3 or 4 times. 3 or 4 other sites were considered for the women's annex. But
Okay,
he
the
felt
other,
ours
the
was
other,
the
the
best.
other, the other statement that I'll make is that the county did do a request for proposal for a women's annex. And that was done back in, I believe, in August. So if it was too soon back then, I mean, that logic, that just goes to add credence to the poor planning of all of this.
Well, that's-
The other reason why I was not able to
I've
attack.
questioned the planning over the last 10 years if you're.
Well, why don't you ask former Commissioner Hardy, former Commissioner Vacides, former county controller, present county controller, because he was here at the time, Lawley, present Vince Vacides, Vince Zabatoski, and Nancy Vernon, who was the district attorney at the time, and Judge Wagner, who was the judge at the time, all on the prison board, that they all unanimously, under my motion, did take steps. So this
Take
continued.
steps to do what?
Read the motion. Read the prison board members. We were actively taking steps to address the overcrowding and recidivism issue. And your comments that the last 10 years is always as if it's Angela because she's been a commissioner for 9 years. What we're talking.
You've been a commissioner over 10 years.
Okay, and everything that's wrong with Fayette County is Commissioner Zimmerling's fault. Okay. Now, again. We're talking about this, but I would have some additional information here with some specifications. However,
Did we get any RFPs?
Let's table it until you get more information.
well, hold on a second. Yeah, just last week, I had asked the team leader, Jim Killinger, about the DOC recommendations, and he informed me that I should download that information from the internet. And is that not true? You also told me to do that?
No, actually, I recommended that.
That I do that, okay. Now, I did follow the recommendation or suggestion of Jim Killinger, the architectural team leader and the chair of the prison working groups and the commissioners. And what they told me to download does not even exist. And you can confirm this with John Cupp. In August of 2013, Jim Killinger stated that he looked at 18 possible prison sites and also some facilities near the current jail and courthouse to lodge females. Okay? That is what was stated.
It also says 34,
Okay.
right here.
Regardless of what a newspaper says, regardless of what the newspaper says, I'm reading from the statement that the team leader indicated, and is a matter of the prison board minutes. I looked at 18 possible prison sites and also some facilities near the current jail and courthouse to lodge females. In order to do this, the facility must meet Title 37, Chapter 49 regarding the law covering county correctional institutions, which is 76 pages. I specifically, through emails and conversations with John Cupp, asked him to provide me with Title 37, Chapter 49, and he said he cannot find it and that it does not exist as it's stated in here. I did my own research as they suggested. I pulled up Title 37, Chapter 49. Solicitor John Cupp did the same thing. He did a Westlaw. I wish he was here today, that he could tell me that he could tell you the same thing that he told me, that he cannot provide it because it's not it doesn't exist. Again, I would be more than happy to do the specs and everything if our own prison working group and chair would indicate to us exactly what the DOC recommendations are. Is there a motion and a second? You're in charge now, you're the vice chair.
A motion, a second. What are we motioning? What was the motion?
Is there a motion and a second? No. Okay. I thought you...
No, there's no motion. There's a bathroom break, but no motion.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to table this item until the March meeting. That's my motion.
That item is
To advertise the
to
RFP.
advertise the RFP.
Yes, I move to table it.
Now, the reason why how much, Controller Lally,
Yes.
this month alone, what was our expense for out-of-county rentals?
This
Or
month,
January, if you will, I think it was
January.
69,000?
69,000.
69,000.
Are you, I mean, if, I'm taking an assumption here that you wanted it to be tabled along with Commissioner Ambrosini.
I asked just to control a loudly question.
Okay, because I would move forward with it if I would get the support on this.
I think we need to move forward with the RFPs, but I also think we need to look at what is available, readily available to us at low cost or no cost by virtue of county-owned buildings. I know you spoke with the team lead. I know you spoke with Jim Killinger, the architectural team leader, but I think we need to take another look at this to see what's out there, what's available, if anything, and then the private sector could make their submissions to see if there's anything that fits the needs of housing female inmates. I think to delay this is going to cost us another $30,000, $40,000, and here we go again. We just continually keep treading water, and then we lower taxes in Butler County by a quarter mil. We did.
Yeah, I didn't speak with Jim Killinger. I just asked him the question here at the meeting.
Okay.
That's all.
I'm sorry. Okay,
I didn't
I'm sorry.
meet with him for that information. This was my motion. I'm the one who placed it on the agenda,
Yeah,
and you agreed with it.
I told you Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah, I
and
agree with it.
and this really has nothing to do with county-owned property, because again, this would be an RFP seeking it from non-county-owned property. So one has nothing to do with the other. Whether we move forward. I mean, we should be moving forward with both. I thought that our architectural team was doing that based on their statements. But if you do the RFP, the other thing that needs to be clear is, we need to have some specifications that would go in this RFP, because the last RFP was done, it just simply said within a certain radius of downtown, close proximity is what it stated, and it said that it must be a one-story building. I believe that what we need to do is to come up with some standards, some basic standards that would be in this request for proposal, so that nothing is left out, and a scope of services should not be difficult for us to gather and then place in the scope of work under the RFP. What I'm also concerned about is the statement that Commissioner Ambrosini said at last meeting, when I asked him to just tell me what other individuals that he is talking with, he and or the prison work group for an annex building. His statement was that he did not want to disclose that information, and he stated that when I asked why, he stated that there are some individuals who may not want their names released to the public. Well, here's what we cannot do, which would be totally unfair to those who would, if we do the request for proposal, we will have individuals providing us with information in a sealed proposal that will then be opened up at a public meeting. It is not fair that there are some individuals who are communicating solely with Commissioner Ambrosini and or the prison working group, who would not have to also follow the same procedure with the request for proposals. So it needs to be made very clear, number one, Commissioner Ambrosini and the prison working group should no longer refuse to disclose what those properties that they're looking at. But secondly, those individuals who have spoken with the prison working group and or Commissioners Ambrosini should also be made aware that they too must go through the process of a request for proposal response, just like anyone else would, because it would, again, I don't think I have to explain my reasons why.
And also, just for the record, Title 37 does have a section in there that relates to the Department of Corrections.
We know that Title 37 is the Department of Corrections. It's Chapter 49 that does not exist, according to John Cupp.
Okay.
I know the Title 37 Department of Corrections exists. I said Chapter 49. He did a lot of research on that. But again, the scope of work and everyone would need to no longer talk on the phone or in a conference room or at a restaurant about possible site locations. It needs to be done through a response for a request for proposal. Would you agree with that, Commissioner Zabatowski? And if so, then I'll make a motion to.
Actually, that's incorrect.
What's incorrect?
First of all, any one of us can go out and talk to any individual, especially if they solicit their property or whatever for use for the county. It only has to become public when it's recommended or brought in front of this board to vote on. The other thing is, the county does have the right of eminent domain for a county jail, which means we don't even have to, we can select any piece of property, pay fair market value, and acquire it through the right of eminent domain. That's in the county code. So, but I mean, certainly I won't do this because I'd rather have somebody that's agreeable to selling their property to the county. So the process that Commissioner Zimmerlin just stated is not accurate.
No, that is accurate. Everything that I said is accurate, and you can pull all of my words and specifically say what you believe to be inaccurate. It is accurate that it is only fair that you no longer discuss with private individuals that no one knows, and you and or the prison working group select or decide not to select a certain piece of property, contrary to us doing a request for a proposal, which we would specifically list the scope and the specs, and everyone in the county would have a fair shot, and they would all be responding to the same questions and specifications. It's just plain and simple, and to have you and or the architectural group meet and review property and say no thanks, but no thanks. Well, that's just you. It's not coming before the board. That's you and your county employees who are and the citizen who on the prison working group. You have no authority to talk with Mr. T. Berry or Mr. Tim Grindle, and those are the names that have been coming into the office, and other names without informing all of us and making a determination. Yes, I do want this property, or no, I don't. The selection process, it needs to be open, but it does.
9 days ago.
No,
Listen, the selection process can be, the part of this process that needs to be public is the part where we all agree on whatever it is that we're going to select for either the women's annex or the justice facility. It doesn't, in a lot of cases, and I'll give you an example. And if I say something wrong, solicitor, you jump right in. In a case, say for example, in one of our boards or authorities, we have a 5-person board. If they're going to acquire property, or if they're going to acquire a contract that needs negotiated, typically what happens is 2 out of the 5 will volunteer to be on the negotiating team and go and take care of all the legwork, so to speak, all the busy work, talk to whoever it is, find out all the details, and then they bring that recommendation back to the full board. Otherwise, that process gets drug out much longer than it needs to be. I mean, the process is tough enough as it is in terms of time. We need to make this a little quicker. So, in this case, in a 3-person board, then obviously to keep from having a quorum negotiate, or find out the information that we need, we can only have one person.
It's not
And
true.
We didn't agree to that. We had no resolution to agree to that at all. Absolutely not.
Please.
There was never any resolution that designated any one commissioner to do this. As a matter of fact, the commissioners did not
Well, the
even
fact-
form the prison working group. It was on the advice of the prison board. It was never. It's not even a recognized group as from the commissioners. The other thing too is that that information and any deliberation and discussion does need to be public, and I'm not going to go into everyone who agrees that it should, even though there may be a solicitor and commissioners who disagree with that. I will ask Solicitor Berkeley a question. There was no resolution or any type of agreement between the three commissioners to public agreement for the three commissioners to offer to purchase a piece of property. I asked you that for legal opinion, you and the other county solicitors, to provide me with a legal opinion as to what authorized my fellow commissioners to offer to purchase a piece of property, namely Iowa Street. Were you able to? Where was the? Were you able to review that and come up with a
No,
Uh,
but I mean, I can tell you off the, clearly, nothing would be binding until this board made, if two commissioners went and said to Mr. Smith, Fayette County will buy your property for $100,000, it's not binding.
So are you saying that, okay, here's the question then. There is a document that was sent to the owner of the Gallatin, whatever the name of their Gallatin Capital Partners for Iowa Street, and it was a counter proposal to lease with a set dollar amount, and in addition to purchase the property for $225,000. Are you saying that the two commissioners had that authority just by signing off on a piece of paper to make that option?
It wouldn't have been enforceable, but
Okay.
first of all,
Then I don't know why they even bothered to do it, and I agree it wouldn't have been enforceable. We shouldn't be discussing that, and that's the whole reason why we need to be very specific as to what our needs are. What are our needs for our annex? We need to be specific and come up. Now, we can't, obviously there's going to be a little wiggle room here, but we have to have a meeting of the minds as to what our needs are. I mean, do we want it to be one story or two story? It was determined by whoever wrote the request for, or wrote the request for proposal for the annex to make it a one story, okay? But you had indicated that even though the individual, we did receive a proposal from Johnson, I think it was Johnson Funeral Home, and it was rejected because it did not meet the bid specs because there was a two-story. You still went and looked at the building. What we need to do is all get on the same page. I'm not saying if you wanted to go look at a building, that's fine. We all need to get on the same page and see exactly where do we want the women's annex? Is it a temporary facility? Is it something that we would want at a later date to own and turn into another county use? But we're not having that open discussion. Now you may say that we should be having this at a prison working group meeting. However, we're not going to go down the road as to all the opinions as to why two commissioners are not sitting at that meeting. But we still need to do that. And I think that you're only spinning your wheels by not having the do's and the don'ts and the basic requirements. There should also be a checklist so somebody doesn't say, hey, let's go get the fairgrounds and then find out that, there's no sewage, or let's do this. We need to have some do's and don'ts and some a criteria to work from. That only makes common sense, and I think that this whole process could have been really accomplished within the last year. But again, I'm going to, I said that I would make a motion to table. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make a motion to advertise an RFP for a building to be used to house the female inmates. And that would be to be reviewed by the commissioners as to the modifications and the scope of work prior to it being advertised. Which means, Chief Clerk, if you receive something from two of them, I know you did that the last time and said, here, I have this information, it's going to go in the paper tomorrow, and I emailed back and said, wait, I need to talk with the county solicitor, and your response was, I already got two commissioners. We don't want that. We want to have all three commissioners weigh in on this so we can have this done more clear and get some good responses. And at the same time, it has to be very clear that anyone who has offered, because I've received a few telephone calls from a number of individuals and I referred them to your office. Those individuals need to be informed as well that they need to go through the RFP process so they can get a fair shake at the deal as well as anyone else. That's my motion. I move to have it.
Would you be willing to incorporate the use of county land and/or county facilities?
We don't have to do RFPs for that.
We don't, okay then.
That's my motion.
Second the motion.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Consider approval of a cooperative agreement with Fayette Economic Development Council for a
Statement that says the county does hereby agree to reimburse the project or the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for any expenditure found by the office to be ineligible. My concern was that Solicitor Cup stated that the last paragraph that says Fayette County agrees to hold harmless the county and shall promptly reimburse the county for any claim as a result of the disbursements. That there would be the hold harmless clause, and he believed that, from what I understand, that would preclude us for having to pay it. I believe we would have to pay it, but obviously it says we would be reimbursed.
Sure.
Is that your opinion as well?
It is.
Okay, then I would support it based on the legal opinion that the county is covered under the hold harmless agreement, that if we have to pay it, that the Fayette Pen would reimburse the county if it's found to be ineligible.
Make the motion.
Second. My motion is contingent. I want that to be stated in the, well, that's fine. That's fine. He said it as a matter of record. I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider approval to award RFP 14-01 to Blank River Services for an amount of $15,000 for disposition of the Frederick County Ferry.
The item on the agenda was just to award an RFP. Chief Clerk, you can't change and add that information after the agenda meeting. So from this point on, and if you need a legal opinion from the solicitor, you can get that after the meeting. But you have to print on the agenda the exact same motion that is read into the agenda. In this particular instance, have you determined that we only received one response? Is that correct?
There was only one.
There was only one response. The question that I would have of Solicitor Berkeley would be, a few months ago, quite a number of months ago, a bid was done, and then I asked you to check with Washington County Commissioners because the Chief Clerk had indicated that a resolution was passed by the Washington County Commissioners. I did confirm from the Chief Clerk of Washington County that they have not passed a resolution, okay? But however, the Commissioners of Washington sent a letter that says that they have no objection for us to sell the ferry.
Right, I saw that.
Okay.
I saw somebody sent that they have no objection, yes.
Okay. It was my understanding from reading the documents that the Frederick County Ferry is owned by both counties. You said that you would review those documents because although we do have the written agreement from the Washington County Commissioners that they have no objection for us to sell it, If we do sell it for this 15,000, do we have you had an opportunity this was several months ago, that it is owned by both counties and that 15,000 would be an even split?
We did, John and I reviewed, it is owned by both counties. The split will obviously be, I thought I saw something somewhere where they said they didn't care about that.
I did.
I might be wrong, but since you mentioned, but I thought I saw that.
I
Obviously, though, they said they didn't have any objection to it. I think that would be another step
Okay.
relative to this.
At the meeting, I specifically said that both counties do own it. Commissioner Ambrosini said that I was incorrect, but you're saying that both counties, I was correct, both counties own it?
Well,
I'm not saying you're correct, I'm saying both counties
Both counties own it, okay, that's enough, okay, I understand that.
There is a document that says the title to the boat is from Fayette County.
Yeah, however.
The title is named.
The title, right, it's totally different that says that it's titled in Fayette County. However, it further states that the reason it's titled in Fayette County, and it gives the whole reason as to why it's only titled in Fayette County, and I'm not going to go into all of that detail, but it is clearly still owned by both counties, and that document states that. So all what I'm saying is that I want to make sure that that is on record. There's nothing to say to the contrary. I obviously have no problem in splitting it if we're obligated to do it, but I want to make it clear that, no, the county didn't sell this for $15,000 and is getting $15,000. I have seen no document's been provided to me. It might be on the top of my mailbox that says that they don't want the money, but I don't have that. No, I asked for the information. That's why I can't help it if people are laughing. I'm being serious about this. I did ask.
Why didn't you say something to them?
To
When they were
who?
doing that, they were interrupting you.
Please don't interrupt by laughing. Thank you.
Sorry.
It didn't.
Okay.
My question is, I did ask. My question is, I did ask you, Solicitor Berkeley, for an opinion on that. I am only saying that perhaps you gave that. I've asked it a couple months ago. Maybe you gave that to me, and it's somewhere in a mailbox.
I don't recall. I recall us discussing this, whether it was at one of these meetings or not. That's usually the only time I talk to you, but I thought that was determined, and I knew about the communications from Washington County. I called Commissioner Maggi personally, but it was my understanding, and again, this may be wrong, and it doesn't matter for this motion, that they didn't care about the money either.
Okay, the only document that I have.
Commissioner Maggi made that statement to me also.
Okay, well, the only document, statements, that's one commissioner from Washington County who apparently said it to another. Both, there's three of them.
Yeah, but I mean, I got some too. Mr. Schobert also.
Well, the only thing I can say is Washington County does not object to Fayette County's decision to offer for sale the Fredericktown Ferry and the liquidation of other ferry assets. Therefore, we offered it for sale, and we can go ahead and we can accept the response. However, there's nothing in writing that says that if Washington County wants to forego the $7,500, that's great. But we do need absent an agreement. We do have to split it. Is that your understanding?
They would have a claim
Okay.
to split,
Okay.
in my opinion. Yes.
Okay. So right now we're going to split it, unless we get a letter from them that says, hey, we don't want the $7,500.
Commissioner, before any of those decisions are made to split it, you have to look back at the payment history from Washington County. They have not made several insurance payments to my knowledge, and there's also been some repair expenses that have been the burden of Fayette and not Washington County over the years. So if there's a proportional agreement, those things need to be determined and delineated clearly.
Well, the agreement itself says that it's owned by both, so if it's sold, then it would have to be split. If there is any outstanding debts that have to be paid from Washington County, then surely we could subtract that off of their half of the proceeds. but I would
That's what I'm
certainly.
implying. If there is going to be money dealt out to Washington County, they need to make us whole before any checks are cut.
And to not dole out any money to Washington County, we would need something more than a statement from one commissioner that says two of the three commissioners had agreed that they don't want to split the money.
Amy, was there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll make a motion to award RFP 14-01 Blank River Services out of Elizabeth, PA, for the amount of $15,000 to purchase the Fredericktown ferry vessel.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consider ratification of the following transfers as listed for a total debit of $23,902.29. Total credits the same.
Aye. Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Are there any public announcements?
I have just one statement. It's my understanding, and I'm not certain of this, and perhaps either Commissioner Ambersini could tell us, or we could find this out at the next airport meeting, I believe maybe tomorrow. But Kathy, it's my understanding that you're gathering all the information for the board appointments. You had left the agenda meeting early last meeting, so you may not be aware of this, but one of the questions was if you are scheduling any other interviews for any of the positions. I did not believe you are, but are you?
I have not. There's been recommendations from
Okay.
both Archipelago and Muriel from the chamber.
Okay, we may need to, it's my understanding that Matt Thomas from the Airport Authority has sent in a letter of resignation to serve on the board. So what we need to do is to check that. And if that's true, then interviews need to be set up so that an individual would be named to fill his unexpired term. Okay, you can check on that. Do you know if there's?
I've not seen a letter, have you,
No.
from that?
Okay, I haven't either, but I was told that, so I'm letting you know that along with any other boards, if you put something in the paper, would have to. Now, I could be incorrect. The information that I was given could be incorrect. I'm just asking you to please check into that. Thank you.
Okay, are there any public comments?
Yes, I do.
Yes, ma'am.
And yeah, please, just one at a time. They'll state their name, and as long as there won't be any problems up here, okay? If you just wait until everybody has a chance to speak. Okay. Go ahead.
Every meeting for the past 3 months, I've held my hand up to be recognized, and people walked up here and spoke. So I decided that if that's the method being used, that's the method I'm going to use. So I'm walked up here. This goes back 3 meetings that I've wanted to get. First of all, I'd like to make a statement that I don't think, Mr. Ambersini, that you understand the duties of the chairperson of the County Commissioners Board.
You're right.
You're paid $1,000 extra to conduct a meeting, period. You're not a dictator. You can't enforce your will on anybody else. You have to give equal time and equal attention to both the other ones. You can't withhold any information from either from the other commissioners. Everybody's entitled to all the communication that comes into the county that is pertinent to county business. And I don't think that's been going on in this administration at all. Secondly, a number of months ago, when there was 20-some township supervisors here, they were promised 10% of $1.4 million. That's $140,000. Divided by 24 townships, that's $5,833 and change. It was said that was the most that had ever been proposed at a meeting, which is not true because at the previous meeting, $10,000 per township was proposed. Also, the amount of money they received was $5,135 and change, which is almost $700 short of what they were promised by you, Julie. And I don't think they're very happy about it. You also were quoted in the paper saying that you won't consider any land until talking to the involved parties. Well, that didn't happen with the Fair Board, the Manama Township, or George's Township. Everything was after the fact. I'm not going to say what I have next here because it might be inappropriate. But an amount of money you claim for transporting prisoners, that may be what you're paying, but that is not an accurate count of what the overcost is for transporting prisoners. You have to deduct what it would cost to keep them here if you had room for them. Then what the difference is what actually is the overcost, not the $1,700,000 that's claimed.
Sorry.
And when you were asked to furnish certain information, you said you wouldn't furnish it because if you did, if you kept everything, if you didn't have it, if you didn't keep it, you would have reams and reams of paper on cluttering your desk. Do you know how many sheets of paper in a ream?
I do.
Yeah, 480 to 516 sheets of paper in a ream. So reams and reams, you'd need another room practically. And so if the details on the prison, is reams and reams of paper, they must be writing a tome. If you're not familiar with what a tome is, that's an enormous book. It's an enormous book. And how do you know what you're paying for if you don't know what you're doing? Telling it and saying are two different things. Now also, people that come up here and speak at this podium have also been called the dog and pony show. Well, I hope I'm one of the dogs, because dogs are intelligent, and I know a lot about horses because I had them when I was a single man. And horses are pretty dumb.
Yeah. Mr. Mazza, could you wrap it up here?
No,
5 minutes is up, please.
I haven't gone 5 minutes.
There is
I
no
looked at my
vote on the
watch.
resolution that says 5
And
minutes.
besides that, I'm
It
going
doesn't have to be, but
Now,
the chair can
if
decide.
you think concerned citizens that come up here and try to give you some information or object to the actions you're taking are dogs and ponies, then you have a lot of thinking to do, because they are concerned citizens. This is not a dog. The only dog and pony show I saw was the one where you had public forums about the prison, which was nothing but a selling device, and part of it is right here at every meeting, dog and pony show, where you try to keep people out of the loop and do as you would like to have done.
Mr. Mazza,
What?
I'm providing you time to comment on
No,
whatever you
you're
want.
not.
No, you're not.
Public speaking.
This is the
citizen's time.
Sunshine Law says I have the right for public comment.
And you do. But here's the thing. I'm not gonna sit here and dispute everything you say, much of which is incorrect.
You don't dispute anything I say.
Well, that's because much of it is incorrect. I mean. I could be here.
You know what the joke is in Fayette County, Al? If you want to
Okay.
dispute,
Part
you want to
of
dispute what I'm
part
saying.
of the
You want to
reason-
dispute what I'm saying. The joke in Allegheny County is, do you know how the two commissioners are not telling the truth? Their lips are moving.
Okay.
That is the joke in this town.
As
And you
know-
have you stood right there, sat right there and told the township supervisors.
I'm not gonna tolerate personal attacks, and I stated that over the last several months when we talked about the public comment that you folks are allowed.
I have the right to my opinion.
You have the right to your opinion, but you don't
And I
have
can
the
state
right.
whatever,
in
this is
in
still the
this
United
meeting.
States of America, and I still have freedom of speech, and I can say anything I want to say, as long as I'm not cursing you. And I have many times thought of that too, because you've never, ever told me the truth.
Commissioner Emerson, a month ago, we were all here at this meeting. And somebody asked if the report from Ken Berkeley has been done. And you said, yes, it is, you received it, and you promised your fellow commissioners they would have it by the end of the day. So since Mr. Zapatowski's not here to answer my question, Commissioner Zimmerman, do you have that report yet?
No.
That report was distributed.
When?
I don't-
Well, you promised her and your other commissioner by the end of the day.
It
Did
was
you do that?
distributed.
It was not distributed. It was not distributed. I mean, that is totally false. Where is it? Who did you give it to? I don't have that. I had to make a call to Solicitor Berkeley. Your statement at the commissioners' meeting was, I have the documents and it will be distributed to Commissioner Zabatowski and Zimmerling by the end of the day. I did not receive it by the end of the day. No one handed it to me. It is not in my mailbox, on top of my mailbox, outside my door, in my car, in any place that I could possibly have it. So don't say it was distributed and try to make this out as something that is not. It was not given to me. So much so that I waited a few days afterwards and I contacted Solicitor Berkeley and I asked him if he provided those documents. And his statement was that he did do bound copies and that he gave them to you to distribute, and he's also indicated that he would follow up on that. I didn't get any follow-up, but then again, if Solicitor Berkeley, I don't know who he called and he can answer that, but as God is my witness, I do not have that copy. No one handed me that copy. It is not in my mail. There's only places that it could be given, okay? Let me ask a question. Do you recall who you gave it to?
Yes.
Who?
I gave it to my administrative assistant.
Nicole Young. Did you ever hand me that copy?
I hand you a copy?
Yes.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Did you ever place something like that in my mailbox?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Thank you. Did you?
There's a lot of papers that's been circulating, so I'm not sure what I've been giving you, but I'd have to look.
Okay, and I understand that, but I'm just asking a question. And the relationship that you and I have, if I email you something and others, you email back, we don't have any problems, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, that is correct.
But
And
honestly, I'm not perfect, and I could have made the mistake to have not passed it on.
that's fine, but to your knowledge, you have not handed me that document or given it to me. Thank you.
So we'll make sure you get it.
Now, here's my comment though. I'm going to take myself for instance. I voted for two commissioners. I voted for you and I voted for her. Two different parties, two different thought patterns. I expect the both of you to listen and give information back to us. Both of you. Now, when you don't share that with her, you leave me out of the program and you leave others here out because she can't share it with us. Now, there can't be an excuse in the world, I mean none, that you have not given her that document in 1 month. And Mr. Berkeley, I'm going to ask you a question. Obviously, you have FedEx, UPS, and mail at your office. Are you telling me after this woman called you, you couldn't have given your boss the respect to have personally put that in an envelope and mailed it to her?
Well, first of all, she did not call me.
I emailed you. Okay.
Well,
Called, emailed. Okay.
So the request was there. Couldn't have you shown her some respect?
Could you let me answer your question? I mean, that's the
Do
whole
it.
point that I made before.
Please, I emailed. I'm sorry I didn't call. I emailed and he emailed back. Sorry.
Did I email you back? Immediately. As soon as you sent that email, I got it. I told her because I remember that day very well. I had pink eye. I was very sick. I couldn't make it to the meeting. I had 5, I believe, bound copies, and I handed them to Commissioner Ambrosini. So I don't have any more.
Okay, okay.
So once she asked me, I told her to check with Commissioner Ambrosini.
No, you didn't.
Well, you can get
okay.
the email, all right.
No,
Did I tell you
if
that
you're-
Commissioner Ambrosini
No, if
had
you're-
them? Didn't I tell you that?
No, if you are going to go back and forth on call and email, no, you didn't. I called you and I said, this is what Commissioner.
didn't call me.
I
You emailed.
emailed and I said, this is what Commissioner Ambrosini indicated, that you had provided him with the copies. I don't have a copy. Your response was, yes, you had pink eye, and that's why you didn't come to the Tuesday meeting, but that you had bound copies and you provided them to Commissioner Ambrosini, and that you would check on it. That is what you said, and if you want me to find the email, I'll find it.
No, I
But
think that's pretty good, yeah.
Okay, I didn't have to go back and ask him for another copy, ask him again, but you provided the copies, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. You gave it to him, right?
Yes.
Okay. His question has nothing to do with, I mean, your question is, I
Couldn't
guess.
you mailed one after the request that she didn't get it? Wouldn't it have been just a common courtesy or professional courtesy?
I thought I answered that. I gave all the copies that I had to Commissioner Ambrosini.
And I guess the copy that he has in his office, you chose, of course, I mean, you have one. You retain one for yourself?
I don't have a bound copy. I have the rough draft of it, yes.
That's fine. I guess I'll get it. I'll get it.
And the last thing I'm going to say, I want to reiterate what Mr. Mazza said. That story in the paper, Zapatowski added his time to end the dog and pony show. I couldn't agree with this gentleman and more, Mr. Ambrosini. I spend my time to take away from my business. I'm going to be late for a cancer doctor today, so I can stand here before you. For anybody to call us a dog and pony show, people who care about this community, want to help, want to offer advice, and the only thing you got to say, not you, but he said, it's a dog and pony show? And then this gentleman says here to Angela Zimmerling, your gallery? I'm not her gallery. I don't speak for her, you, or anybody. I got a backbone and a spine, and I'm going to say what I want. Mr. Berkeley, that was way out of line for you to say that kind of thing. Way out of line.
And inappropriate, and I
Thank you
apologize.
for it. That's a very good
I
thing
do.
to do, sir. I appreciate that. You're a gentleman to do that.
I do that.
But it's not right when this woman's not given information. She's been held back, and we're called the bad guys here when we're trying to help, and we're paying your ticket. We put you in the seat, and you treat us as garbage or dog and ponies. You should be ashamed of yourself.
So, just for everybody.
You have to state your name.
Oh,
for
my
the
name is
record.
Mary Beth Homestead, A Fair Chance. Now, just in case, just for anybody doesn't know, this is the Crabtree plan and the 10-page stuff that is supposedly too big to fit in her mailbox. Reams and reams of paper is right here. It can be folded up like this and handed to her. This is the reams and reams of paper that could not be distributed. She does not have yet. I have it. She doesn't have it. I gave a copy to Attorney
Mary
Humphrey.
Beth, that's not the documents we're talking about.
Oh, it's not?
No,
You
the
didn't,
I don't know. what
you didn't
you're
request the Crabtree drawings for Iowa Street?
Yeah, they're these
And
size
the
drawings
copies
there.
of the property owner notification. And yeah, I believe so, And my real question is, has the city zoning meeting of February 20th regarding the variance for Iowa Street been canceled?
Was it canceled?
Yes.
I
Because
believe
the applicant is the county.
I believe it was postponed.
It was
So-
postponed to February 20th.
20th, correct.
Your question is,
Right.
today's
Yeah.
what, the 18th?
I don't even know it.
Today's the 18th. The question is whether or not the February 20th
Yeah, still going,
meeting. Yeah.
are you still going to have the meeting to discuss the variance to let Iowa Street be
hear.
the prison?
No,
No.
So has it been canceled?
no,
Are you-
no, it's still on hold.
Well,
Until we determine whether we have a economic viable option.
So
wait a
you're
minute.
still, you're still
wait.
considering Iowa Street?
No, according to what I read in the newspaper, okay, it stated that whatever day the original hearing, zoning
Right.
hearing was,
20th.
individuals appeared, and the
his attorney.
I guess someone from Uniontown zoning indicated that that hearing was canceled and postponed to
Correct.
February 20th.
Correct.
It would not be, again, re-advertised because he was giving the information
Right.
then and there. So it is scheduled for February 20th as per the Uniontown City Council and
Right.
Zoning Hearing Board.
And they had, the Neubauer has 15 minutes to cancel.
I don't know that,
was
but
in that was. and,
it has been, it's scheduled, it was rescheduled to February 20th.
Correct.
That is the last I know. Perhaps somebody can call the city
I'll have to do
after
that.
this meeting.
Because Mr. Knapp from K2 Engineering told me it was February 20th.
Right, it is, according
Okay,
to the.
so then there were 4 Iowa streets. Well, as of when Steve Neubauer called me about 10 days ago, trying to get me to retract my statement that's in print about his building, he said there was no agreement yet and no lease signed for Iowa Street. And Commissioner Zapatowski, when he called me at home 10 days ago, said he's not gonna vote for it. It's like he doesn't agree with that. So it seems like you're just doing this because you can't say, I made a mistake. And my other question is, in the paper a couple weeks ago, there was an legal ad you're receiving applications for solicitor positions in the county. And those bids were supposed to be open last Thursday. How many people applied? Do you know for those positions, those
For the
solicitor positions?
solicitor's position, 2 that I'm aware of.
And
Okay, so it can be more clear, because he said that he's aware of.
He's aware of.
Okay, they're not bids, they were requests for qualifications.
Okay.
Okay. The chief here, along with a member of the controller's office, went through the process. So, Chief Clerk, how many responses did the county receive in response to the request for qualifications for county solicitors? 2, she said.
were they
Do
interviewed?
you know who those 2 were?
Yeah.
Who are they?
John Cup and Cheryl Hott.
John Kopp and Cheryl Hott, okay?
And
Now,
were
that
they
that was done this past Thursday at 3. Your next question is, were there any interviews?
Yes.
This was only opened on Thursday at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
We had Friday.
Okay.
Monday we
There
were
wasn't a
closed, and
chance to
today's
interview.
Tuesday. So nothing to
Okay.
my knowledge has been done right now.
Okay, and then, I did my research, read a lot of stuff from, I forget what bunch of the paper, but Mr. Ambrosini, it was in the article, said that Mr. Berkeley was brought in mainly, temporarily, to reduce the number of lawsuits against Fayette County. Was that successful? Was he successful in reducing the number of lawsuits against the county?
The reason Mr. Berkeley was brought in was to provide us with recommendations on some procedural changes and policies that would help us reduce the
number of lawsuits.
and/or claims.
Did it help? Did it help? Is his services productive? Did you reduce the number of lawsuits?
The document that he provided us not too long ago gives us those recommendations. We have not implemented those recommendations.
And how long has he been working for the county now? Since 2012?
June or July of 2012.
So it's taken him that long and he still hasn't
Along
reduced
with duties of chief solicitor, which are unfortunately in Fayette County very extensive.
And then also, Mr. Berkeley has his own lawsuit in Westmoreland County against them for being fired and wants reinstatement plus $120,000. Don't you think that's kind of awkward having that happening and he working for Fayette County? And his controller's lawsuit's still
Why
active.
would that be awkward when?
He's
when we
suing
have-
someone else
when
and
we
you have a
commissioner that
I sue people
That-
every day.
Oh,
involves.
from yourself, from your own?
Mary Beth, why would that be awkward when we have a?
Excuse me?
Why would Mr. Berkeley's lawsuit be awkward when we have lawsuits that originate right from the commissioner's office?
I don't know, if you
For
have
various
someone from
reasons.
out of county working here
We
as a
have,
solicitor.
Mary Beth, there are lawsuits that are filed. Many of them come from the jail, okay,
Right,
and
right.
grievances and arbitration. Pardon me?
Most of them.
Most of them, okay, Solicitor Berkeley agreed. Most of our lawsuits originate from the jail,
Oh, sure.
okay? And when they do sue, they sue all three commissioners.
Right, I know.
Okay,
Right.
just so you know.
Right.
All right.
Oh, yeah, definitely,
Of
they're all
course.
involved, just like the most recent one, the county, and then one particular
And-
commissioner.
Right, and anyone can sue and make a claim, and whether cases are settled, thrown out, or whatever, does not mean that they were valid or not valid. That goes with the prison, as well as we have employee-related issues. We have a number of other types of legal cases, lawsuits.
And have you had is the hanging investigation complete yet of Mr. Derek Thomas, that when he took his life, December 20th or 19th? Do you have any information on that?
No.
I do not have any information.
And then my final question, well, I did have something here about Dog and Pony Show, but everybody else has addressed that, so,
Mary
Is
Beth,
the prison
can I
still-
ask you to wrap up, please?
yeah, I said I have one final, no comment. Is the prison still due to be operational in December 2015?
Yes.
It is. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Yeah, real briefly, okay.
Oh, go ahead, no, go ahead,
Okay.
Dawn, I'm waiting.
Very briefly, very briefly. Mr. Berkeley,
Yes, sir.
my name is John Cloft, and just to get you oriented, I'm not a member of anyone's gallery. If your benefactor, Mr. Ambrosini, has a good idea, I will support him. If Ms. Zimmerlink has a good idea, I will support him. Mr. Lally has a good idea, I will support him. So I don't work for anybody, I don't speak for anybody, and I think your comment was both condescending and inappropriate. Okay, Mr. Ambrosini, reading about your seeking of financial advisors, does this mean you've walked away from the concept of this project will be at no cost to the taxpayer and it will be paid for by natural gas impact fees and gambling fees?
Actually, let me clarify, and the answer,
No,
the short
my
answer,
question to you is,
The short
have you
answer-
walked away from your position that natural gas impact fees and gambling fees will cover the cost of this project?
yes. The answer is yes. Now,
Yes, they
let me-
will, or yes, you will abandon
Yes,
that position?
yes, I have abandoned needing to use Marcellus Shell money and gambling tax money to help pay for the debt service on this new Justice Center. And I'll tell you
So
why,
we're making
John.
progress.
I'll tell you why, because, I've learned over the last several months, as we go forward with this project, we are wasting so much money with our existing facility that the savings, the efficiencies that we can derive from moving into a new facility will be more than enough to pay for the debt service. And I can, I can stay here for a long time, but unfortunately, we do have another meeting, advertised meeting at 1:30. But I want to make that clear, John, we do not need the Marcellus Shell money, and we do not need the gambling tax money to pay the debt service for this new project. All we need to do is use the savings that we can derive from making this a much more efficient process than the way we are currently doing it with an undersized facility that's designed improperly. We have a Band-Aid men's annex down over the hill that's wasting money. And not to mention, of course, sending all these inmates outside the county in 6 or 7 different county jails as far away as State College, Indiana, Bedford, Butler, Beaver, Armstrong, as you heard today, in Greene County. Let's not forget Greene County, because there's 2 facilities right now in Greene County that when I visited Warden Gillespie about 2 weeks ago, he shook my hand and he thanked me for supporting their construction efforts we paid them, Greene County alone, over the last 2 years, we paid them $1.3 million. And they have 2 new facilities down there, 2 new extensions to their jail. They call them Fayette 1 and Fayette 2. That's your tax dollars that paid for those facilities in Greene County. In addition, they just put in a brand new kitchen in their county jail down there, courtesy of Fayette County taxpayers. So yes, the more we get into this project, I'm learning that we're wasting money hand over fist in the way we're operating our current inmate population.
Okay, one point to be made on that, this waste and abuse theme has been a reoccurring theme.
I didn't say abuse, it's just waste.
Okay, waste. Whether or not you can recoup that or not is an open question. Whether or not you can recoup all that money is still an open question. So you've abandoned your original philosophy on paying for this. Have we also stepped away from floating a bond issue, which was the second mode of payment that we were going to pay for the prison?
As you may have heard today, the individual that we hired today to look at the project financing will look at all potential ways we can finance.
Okay, so you've stepped away from the bond issue.
No, the bond issue is going to be one of the financing. As I mentioned, we're going to look at bond issues. We're going to look at various types of conventional bank loans. We're going to look at build-own options. If there's an option out there, we're going to look at it.
Okay, maybe I misread Mr. Lally comments. Mr. Lally, maybe you can clear me up if I'm wrong here. I believe your comments in the paper were that the cost of floating that bond was prohibitive to the county, and you have taken no measures off the table, including a tax increase. Is that true?
I did not make a statement about a tax increase.
You said you didn't take a tax increase. You were quoted in the Herald-Standard as saying that you're not taking any potential source of revenue, including a tax increase, off of the table.
I have no recollection of saying that.
Okay, I believe I read that in the paper. I could provide that, but if I'm erroneous,
Well, first of all, Mr. Lally, Controller Lally doesn't vote on tax increases.
Well, I understand Mr. Lally doesn't, but Mr. Lally is...
He's on the financial team of the
The
prison working.
guy is like the epicenter of the finance, and therefore his comments would be from a knowledgeable person. Do you agree?
Well, yes, he is very knowledgeable.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes,
Okay, so I won't belabor your point. I'll just leave you with this last point. I don't think you realize you are your own worst enemy in trying to get this. You are getting so much pushback because of your credibility or lack of saying. People don't trust you. Okay? People don't trust you. They don't trust your methodology. They don't believe what you say, and they don't believe in the process that you've embarked upon here. If you would be willing to work with people and have a candid, open conversation about what your goals are and how you would achieve them, I think you could make a lot more progress. So I'll just leave you with that thought. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your opinion, John.
Mr. Kopchin,
Thank you very much.
I do want to say one statement regarding the bond issue. At last month's commissioners meeting, a motion was made by the 2 commissioners to pursue the $10 million tax exempt loan.
That's
for
why
the
I asked.
purpose, yes, for the purpose of the annex, the CYS addition, and the new jail. And it was stated by my fellow commissioners, the controller, and also Sam Lynch of Susquehanna, that it is more beneficial and more cost efficient to go with the $10 million per year loan, per year tax exempt, than it is for floating a bond. And there were statements made, and repeated in the newspaper as well as in the minutes and on the tape, that it is more cost efficient to do that. After that was presented, our underwriter from Janie Montgomery did indicate to all of us in an email that those statements were not totally accurate, and that there was like $1 million cost, and that is not accurate. So just so you know, though everything was going towards, let's just do the tax exempt and don't do the bond. And then, as you just heard now they want to look at all other options. But it is the same company who suggested not to go with the bond and go with the tax exempt, who now just entered into an agreement to now explore other options.
And we, John, we will clearly identify or quantify the differences between all the financing options. And it will benefit, and it's for the benefit.
This is all reasonable people could ask for, Al, is a public accounting of what we're doing, where we're going, and how we're going to accomplish it. If you look at all these people in here, and I'm sorry, I can't speak for everybody, but people want to get this resolved. Nobody's saying don't do anything. No one's saying that. But we are saying don't break the bank.
And give accurate information.
And we just, and
We're already,
it's very hard to follow the flow of your logic and rationale to this, because we seem to be changing. We change course here, we change course there.
We're trying to be conservative, but the fact of the matter
Conservative
is
is good, but be transparent, communicate your thoughts, Al, because when you don't, you create this illusion, and maybe it's not an illusion, that you're doing things behind closed doors, and the people that are going to pay the bill are the last folks to hear about what the plan is. So I encourage you to kind of be straight with the public.
I would like to get one thing.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Joseph Conklin. I'm with Penn State Extension. Guess I'm going to change gears here. I just want to thank the county commissioners for their continued support of Extension and our educational mission. I didn't prepare a formal report. Actually, I do have one, but prepare a formal report for this purposes. But in the past week, we've had about 20 individuals do their Serve Safe, which is a program which guarantees restaurant and food safety. Tomorrow we have a pesticide meeting with about 40 individuals for their certification. We have a spring gardening seminar coming up in March. We're going to start having shale meetings, informative shale meetings for landowners, and I'm hoping to get some economic and community development type things down here as well. I've also been in conversation with Penn State Fayette to not only try to increase enrollment there through our 4-H program, but also to band together for continuing ed to help the general population with some of their needs that we can help with. But overall, I just want to say thank you, and I do have a copy of the annual report. I'll give it to you when I see you.
Yeah, and Penn State Extension has always been a good department and extension of Penn State, and very helpful. We've received only good, positive comments from the public and the individuals that you serve.
Thank you. One more thing, we are getting back, like I mentioned in our meeting a while ago, we are getting back into schools. Some schools expressed interest in starting their own programs, and we started a program out in Masontown, which was an isolated area for a program about last week.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank Joe. I also want to thank you for the fresh ideas and the energy that you bring to this to your position.
Thank you.
Yes, Jeremy.
What I was going to say pretty much has been covered. I was going to talk about Mr. Berkian's report. Now, I assume, Mel, that you have all 5 copies of his report. We paid him for 2 years to come up with this report. And of course, you said...
It's actually not been 2 years. It's been
well,
about a year.
close. We admit that it's close to 2 years.
It's between 1.5 and 2. Please, can you contain yourself, Mary Jo?
I'm trying.
Well, I would like to have a report on how much we paid Mr. Berkey for this report, the grand total. What have we paid him up until last month when we received the report? It seems to me that we've had more than enough time to get a solicitor from Fayette County. Why are we paying Mr. Berkey to be here when he's from Westmoreland County? I thought our purpose was to create jobs in Fayette County for Fayette County people, not for Westmoreland people. And his attitude leaves a lot to be desired. Now, I have a right to say that I don't appreciate him calling me Zimmerling Scally. I do not speak to Mrs. Zimmerling from meeting to meeting, and nobody tells Jerry Mazza what to say or what to do. I'm my own person. As awful as Jerry Mazza is, it's her fault she's that way. Because I'm myself. And nobody tells me what to do or say. And I resent his attitude not only towards the people in this audience, but to the commissioner. There are 3 commissioners. The power of the commissioners is 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. Not 1/3, 2/3, and no thirds. And the fact that you 2 commissioners keep stuff from Mrs. Zimmerling is appalling. You have no more power than she has or that Vince Sabatowski has. You're all supposed to be equal. And you're coming up for re-election next year, Al. And if you have aspirations of running again, you sure better do a 180, because I'm telling you, the people out in Fayette County are really, really upset with you. And not only are they upset with you, they're upset with everybody that worked to put you in office. And unless something happens and things change, you're not going to be sitting there after the next election. And the first thing you got to do is get rid of that man right there. He's got to go.
Thank you, Jerry. Any other public comments?
Yes, I just wanted to get this on record. Oh, I left my stuff here.
Yeah,
I came back.
I'm going to tell you about
valuable.
there. Don't leave your
Jeez.
packet. You might get investigated.
I know. I just see, Mary Beth, before you go, Kathy, we do not have a rezoning hearing
No.
scheduled at 1:30. Is that correct? I didn't think.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
So, first of all, I just from being in the peanut gallery watching this today, I just find it interesting. Your personality, Mr. Ambersini, and Mr. Berkeley's are almost identical. It's as though you were best buddies and pals. You have this somewhat arrogant attitude and dismissive nature toward women. And you love that gavel. You love the gavel. I don't know what that represents to you. I mean, I know there's some different Freudian connection with that gavel. But what I want to get on
Let's try
record.
to keep this.
Oh, personal, not personal?
Not personal.
Well, okay, since you're always against getting personal, that's what I came up here for. At the end of the end of the 21st January meeting, the camera shut off just at the moment when I approached the table to ask Commissioner Zimmerling a question regarding, did she know that Jim Killinger's son works at K2 Engineering? And you got red, as you always are, and you yelled at me, "What in the hell are you trying to say, Mary Beth?"
No,
You said that.
It wasn't reference to that.
You,
It was
no,
reference
no,
to.
you should not have used that word to me, period, anywhere. And here you are demanding, that's personal. You said, "What in the hell are you implying, Mary Beth, to me?" And then you were heard in the hallway saying to someone from K2, "Why in the hell did you give her those documents?" So, okay, that's okay for you to say,
Let's
what
not
you can take it personal
talk
to
about
me.
hearsay.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's beyond hearsay. I heard you, Commissioner Zimmerman heard you say, "What in the hell are you implying, or what am I trying to say?" I was speaking to her about the 2 Killingers involved in the same thing. And you had to say, "What the hell, Mary Beth?" That is inappropriate for an elected official. And you just sit there and laugh at everybody, smirk, laugh, giggle, look at this imaginary whatever, smile, because you know you have no friends in this room. Well, your one friend left, and he gave you the thumbs up when he did leave.
Any other public comments? Then this,
I'm sorry.
Mr. Meese, did you say something? I didn't hear you. Oh, okay, I heard you say something.
Yeah.
I made a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I just said they don't like you.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I thought you wanted to speak, I'm sorry.
Do I have a
That's
motion
enough.
to adjourn the meeting? I make the motion to the
Second.
meeting.
I'll move to, all in favor, aye.
Today we're allowed to start.
You're in the 60 years since you were across.
Already.